Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to the Big Think Dimension with Dan and Bob Video Games. I've been enjoying Like a Dragon 8 so much, we have to stream them all by the end of the year. Ah! Chris Wolfhart.
Imagine being shot at and nobody caring.
And Dr. Aggro.
Voices your silent protag.
Here on GigaBoots.
How could you, Aggro?
Look, man, it happens, all right? It's the streets.
Man, I was sitting there like Resident Evil 8 style. Aggro! Why? Okay, now I want to see Aggro in that fucking fit that Chris had in that game.
Like, somebody fuck my sister or I keep voicing people.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Okay. Well, that's, we're here. We're here in the Big Think Dimension. Here to talk about Dondoko Island. We've got so many things. Gentlemen, I have streamed 51 hours and 40 minutes of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth in the past 5 days.
Yeah, that's insane.
Hot damn.
That's insane.
It's been good. I kept telling people, I'm like, just so you know, if I didn't have to like line up my sleep schedule for stuff, I would just be doing a lot more cryptid streaming tech. And I got to do that a little bit this week.
Right.
Everyone was afraid I was going to do a third 20-hour stream. And I'm like, there literally isn't enough time.
Right, because you have to do this show.
I have to be here for this. There isn't enough time.
I was watching and was like, well, he's going to go offline soon, right? Right?
I thought the last day, yesterday's stream was going to be a little baby one because not even, I guess 12 hours ago I was live with it. That is how nonstop it has been. I thought that was going to be like 5-6 hours, but enough things kept coming. Bob. I am at chapter 6, which means nothing to you, but maybe something to the audience. I am level 43 when I know there are people in our chat who have beaten the game at 48. I feel like I've experienced some story, but nowhere near enough.
Right.
Because I have 100%ed, not beaten, 100%ed Dondoko Island by getting every type of fish, bug, item.
Is just straight up Animal Crossing?
It is straight up Animal Crossing.
Okay.
That is disgusting. That is a vile thing to do in the middle of an RPG. Is drop an Animal Crossing.
The best part is it's only like 2 or 3 hours, and then they're like, you can go. And I'm like, we have to rebuild. What? I can't go now. You need me.
Because I could just see Ichiban be like, I owe this raccoon so much money.
Yeah, it was delightful. That mode, by the way, is I believe barely by the time I was done with it over 20 hours.
God, that's crazy to just have.
To get that, mildest spoilers, but in fact gameplay spoilers. If you beat that island, which I did 4 to 6 hours before I left the island because I had things I needed. You get 0 Bahamut summoned from Final Fantasy VII. Your Dondoko friends appear behind you and a satellite lights up every enemy in the encounter from space. It is so fucking strong. So my entire strat for the grindable dungeon was hinged around bring MP recovery items, have Ichiban light everyone on fire multiple times. Every enemy in this dungeon might be purple, but that doesn't matter because I have the power of fucking friendship. Anyway, Dondoko Island's really great. For anyone who doesn't know what an Animal Crossing is, I will describe this and you'll figure it out. You're on an island, okay? And you need to help it rebuild. Some guy gives you a start, but he doesn't leave you horribly indebted.
Oh, that's good.
So that's a little different. You need to spruce up the town by putting decorations and things around that people will find appealing that'll raise the popularity of it. So that way you can grow as an island in the esteem of the Resort Association. Because they keep giving you 1-star, 2-star rating, and you're aiming to get a 5-star rating.
Okay.
And you're just, trying to clean up all the trash on the island. Because if you've played No More Heroes 3, this is a No More Heroes 3 tier gimmick, like mini game, where there are dread pirates. And the dread pirates, which are called washbucklers,
just dump bags of trash on your island every morning. So Ichiban has to go out there with a literal bat and beat the shit out of the bags of trash to clean it up.
Rig's always saying he's not on the island.
Yes.
For something important to happen. I assume he's on Dondoko.
He's probably on Dondoko Island. I need to ask him. It's pretty good. They're like washing machines out in the wild, and they respawn every day, and you beat them up with your bat, and then you get materials like glass and plastic and metals and things, and then you use those to craft things like, a chair for people to sit in, a public toilet that just sits out there for everyone to use in broad daylight out in the open.
Wait, that's not like just a toilet.
It's just a toilet on the ground.
Hawaii's weird.
Reasonable things. You could beat up rocks in order to get materials to build buildings, such as a cabaret club. You could build. They just took assets from the older Yakuza games, Bob, and shoved them in here. So there's so much Yokohama shit.
What?
On Dondoko Island, it is incredible. It's really good. And of course,
I brought my friend Urban Planner.
Yes. It's really good. Unfortunately, the two mascots of this island are Satan. I don't like them. I don't like looking at them. They're called Gachapin and Muku. They are apparently, I believe it was Grand Blue coded, because they both are just Scrimblow core, like, what is it, the teal and red mascots that are just gotcha bait or whatever.
They are characters from Fuji TV that have existed for a while that I guess they just got fucking put in Grand Blue.
And now
they're like 40 years old.
Yeah, these are nightmares.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Muku, for example, literally looks like the red furry one from Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
Oh my god.
Literally looks exactly like that. I would not be surprised if Muku is the original inspiration for that thing.
Right.
Oof. Anyway.
Hey, here's a blast from the past. One of them was announced as a playable character in Mega Man Universe.
Oh, come on.
Gachapin was announced as Megapin. Oh, this art is delightful but hideous. I have no choice but to post it.
Damn it.
In the Big Think channel.
Okay, I'll go.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they captured.
Yep.
They captured. Oh. I don't like this.
That's alternate timeline Captain and Mega Man.
Right.
I don't. His eyes have such sadness.
They do.
Holy shit. So now, anyone who doesn't know what Gachapin and Muku look like in Lad 8 are probably like, how bad is it compared to that? And I guess it's not. No, it's horrible. It's just the worst. I hate them so much. They're hideous.
It makes sense that some Japanese TV mascots would ruin your life.
So the left one is Gachapin. The right one is Muku. You can see why the right one makes me think of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, and I totally messed that up just now. I think the voice actor for Muku is just doing a Gonzo impersonation. Like, imagine you watered down Gonzo a bit and took a little of the edge off of the voice, like that. Like, it sounds like that. It just sounds like a weird Gonzo. It is. His Japanese voice is pretty Gonzo coded too. Oh my god. So, anyways. Yeah, so that island minigame is really fun. I actually enjoyed it. This was not I did this because would it be funny to run down the timer while I will not leave this island? Chat was like, we want to see Dan play through a 100-hour JRPG on stream and see what that's like. And now I think they know.
Right.
Because aggro... I went straight from 100%ing Dondoko Island to going to the optional roguelike dungeon that is like straight up Lufia 2 style. So
it is that, but less intense. So this dungeon has roguelike structure to it, like procedurally generated floors, allegedly.
Okay.
It keeps drawing the same patterns multiple times.
I mean,
there's
that's
one pattern
procedural, even if it's the same one over and over.
We kept drawing the same one procedurally. In it, you need to successfully do 5 floors at a time in order to clear it and get a checkpoint to continue on. Every 10 floors, there's like an intensely difficult boss. These things outstrip me, but thanks to the power I got from Dondoko Island, I was very capable of cheesing my way through that by constantly drinking 2 things that give you MP in this game. Liquor, which gets you drunk, and coffee, which gets you undrunk. So I'm just down there slamming espressos and fucking liquor, shooting shit everywhere, murdering everyone. It was real good. It was real damn good.
Did you get a lot of levels from that?
Oh, I got so strong. I haven't gone back to the main content since. I did every side quest on the map.
God.
I have to progress the time of day by doing the main story stuff to get the finishing segments to some of my side stories, like helping the kid with the lemonade stand. Obviously not a thing you can do at night.
Oh, okay.
A concert thing, not going to happen at night. It's going to happen at a different time of day, apparently. I did everything. I did everything in the game except for the main story.
That's insane.
Oh, don't worry, there's still plenty more side content that hasn't been unlocked yet. I'm willing to bet you have around 140 hours left of that game.
100, well, maybe not 140. I'm 60 in, 64 in, because we streamed before this.
Right.
We streamed a pretty chunky stream before. So I'm about 64 hours in. I'm so strong that there's this dude you build a rivalry with who's like a real life MMA dude, runs a YouTube channel. His name's Asakura. And his whole thing is like, I stalked your ass to Hawaii to fight you to get stronger because the time you beat my ass made me realize fighting for views isn't worth it. That man, I left the dungeon and he's like, yeah, you want that rematch? I'm like, sure. Put his ass down and he's like, cool, we should do this again. And then he immediately calls me again. He's like, you want to do it again? I'm like, okay. Here we go again.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Right. Man, yeah, this game's really damn good. And the best part is across those 50 hours, I feel like I maybe did 10 of story, 12.
That's insane.
I am undoubtedly at least 20 levels above the next encounter I do that's in the main story.
Cool.
Because it's probably like gonna be like 23 and I'm 43. This game's one of those RPGs where it has the mechanic of if you run up on enemies and it knows they're significantly weaker than you and don't stand a chance, you can push L2 and it just like boom, 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 they're dead. Just on the spot.
Nice.
Always nice. I've bought the highest level equipment I can for my people so far. So my entire team decked out in wedding dresses. Pretty good. It not only great stats, it heals you at the end of every battle.
Always nice.
It is nice. And as a reward from getting significantly deep into that dungeon, beating a thing that we had predictions going for whether or not I could beat this boss because they were unhinged. And I just barely did it on my first go. I got this insane armor that's just Dragon Quest core for my main dude, Ichiban Kasuga. So that fucking whips ass. Everyone else is in wedding dresses still, though. So that's good.
Did you ever unlock jobs?
I bought every job I can get, and there was an interesting conclusion to that plot line. You would not believe how that goes if you get all of those jobs and then help out the lady at the counter. So, in Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth,
Okay.
there's, for people who don't know, jobs in this game are based on you going to the tourism board, and then they help you, Japanese tourists, enjoy all the pleasures of the island. So you like go do some yoga, you do some surfing, you watch some flame, like torch wielders or whatever they call them, like people with the fire sticks that just twirl it and whatever. And you're like boom, 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 boom. And as you do this, different members of your party will be inspired and come up with a new job class. Like, so Eric Tomizawa, my awesome wizard guy, is now like a surf dude and has these cool moves like hitting him with a giant frozen fish and surfing through all the enemies. It's really great. So I get all these jobs, and then the lady at the counter just has the option to chat with her. And I'm like, what's up? And she's like explaining like, oh, you know, I've been so stressed here. I wish I could smoke to relieve the stress. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go like pick up a gift pack of smoke stuff. And then she's like, oh, well, this is also a problem I'm having of late. And I'm like, okay, I can go do that because I'm rich. I did the dungeon. Like, I didn't do it completely, but I basically did it completely. I go get that for her. And then at the end of all of that, I gift her 3 different expensive items. And she's like, there's one more thing that I don't let all of my customers know about. There's one more cool thing to do in Hawaii.
Oh, no.
Ichiban, fuck me. And the mascot for the fucking tourism board watches.
Yeah!
It happens in a back fucking alley.
What?
Ichiban's like, what do you mean? She's like, me. It's me. I'm the last cool thing to do in Hawaii. Fuck me, Ichiban. Ichiban's like, what the hell is going on? He goes, you need to understand, I have a special someone back in Japan. She's like, oh, I see. I'm okay with that. This is a really good game. This is a really good game. It's a really good game. Anyway, we're gonna leave the spoiler section. Anyway, that dude wearing that mascot outfit and smoking a cigarette through it was very, very funny. I also did a academic thing. You know, if you know about Like a Dragon 7, 8 similarly has these like quizzes that are called certifications, and you take tests. Mm-hmm. These quizzes are literally like trivia things, right? So you go in there and it'll be like mathematics, world history, very specifically the Yakuza franchise. And I'm like, you said criminal underworld! Damn you! Just the Japanese criminal underworld. So we kept letting people predict whether or not I would get it on my first try. Mm-hmm. And crazy enough, out of the 21 quizzes, I only had to retry like 4 times, which is nuts. Because that means I walked in blind and succeeded them on my first try a shitload of times.
Right.
You can imagine, though, the Yakuza one took a few tries. I bet. It's not like, which one of these is Goro Majima? And I'm like, I could have gotten that. No, instead they're like, here's this guy. Remember when we referenced him earlier in the game? We might have showed him for like 1 camera angle. And I'm like, yeah, that wasn't even like the most important part of the conversation. That was a part of damn you. Anyway, that was really good. People kept betting against me because of aggro on Jeopardy. They just assumed I was bad at Jeopardy. That's okay. Their loss. A lot of people bankrupted themselves assuming I would keep losing these.
I'm really, because I've played every single one of these games, so I'm really curious how I'm going to do on one of those quizzes.
Yeah, I need to know. I absolutely would love to know.
Most of them more than once.
Wow. I rated someone after the stream who was playing Yakuza 0, and they're going to go through the whole franchise. And I'm watching Yakuza 0, and I'm like, that is stunningly identical to the game I'm playing now in so many ways.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a reason they can get these games out every 18 months and them all be really long.
That's weird, right?
I mean, Dan, you've seen a character like pump their fist up in the air, right?
Yes, of course.
That is from the first fucking game. They're still using that animation.
There's also the, oh, you hurt us in battle and we have to limp a little bit at the beginning of us running away animation that I know I saw on the PS3 at the latest.
You slammed my face through 4 concrete blocks. That makes my tummy hurt a little bit. I have to lean over and hold my stomach.
Yes. But it's weird. This has been really delightful, and I enjoy how like there's so much here. There's like so many side missions and storytelling. There's so much gameplay, and like the whole reason they could do Dondoko Island is because they're reusing all this shit. And it's great. It feels really damn good. Also, there's theme of sad, which I'm terrified is in every one of these games, where it just goes, you're having a sad conversation, play the sad song. And it's like the same one across all of them. I'm worried. I'm really enjoying this game. It has been absolutely delightful. There's a reason I've been able to stream 51 hours and 40 minutes of it across the last 4 or 5 days, barely doing anything else at any other point in time in that time span. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to say about this game before we move on, though. The main story is really good. I'm really glad to get back to it. I did all the social link stuff that you can do in the game, which is called drink links, where you go back to the Revolve bar and you just have a deep conversation with your friends about what's going on in their life, and you get conversation choices, which will change the flow of the conversation, what it's about, what you focus on, and what you choose in there will actually give you different personality buffs, which is an interesting part of this game. You have like 6 different segments of personality, like your passion, your kindness, your intellect, etc., etc. And this actually is a stat that plugs into spells and shit. Like your kindness can affect the range of your spells. Certain spells pull into certain stats. There are also, once you get off of Dondoko Island, which takes, obviously you have to spend all 20 plus hours there in one go. When you get back to Honolulu, you can actually invite random people on the street to go to your island. And I ran into one person who was like, you're not kind enough. And I was like, I'm level 7 out of 10. Come on. Yeah, there's so many really cool, interesting parts of this game. I love the weapon crafting system. I love that it has so many systems to properly unhinge your strengths so early on. It's so frustrating when you deal with a game that's like, we won't give you these systems until really late because we're worried you might, break them. That has not been an issue. Eric Tomizawa is very, very strong. And so is Ichiban and his power of friendship. But yeah, I think that's all I want to say about Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I'm really excited to beat that game sometime soon. If I could stream the majority of a 100-hour RPG in maybe 2 weeks flat, that would be cool.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be a neat accomplishment. And something I'm really interested in, because we're so strong when we go back to the mainline story. We're just going to incinerate everything. They don't stand a chance. Oh, and I guess really, really unimportant note. They kept the streamer alive. The timer alive. What is wrong with these people? At any point, they could have made peace and just been like, this is 51 hours. Oh my God.
There's so many RPGs you have to play. Call their bet. Just be like, I have to play these anyway. Might as well go live. Nyan video games streaming
Unicorn
Trails through
Overlord,
Daybreak,
Trails through Daybreak, and
streaming Unicorn Overlord, Romancing Saga, Dragon Quest 3, Mario and Luigi Brothership,
Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. How many times can they do it?
I don't know, man. They're gonna run out, right? They haven't yet, so I don't know why I would even think.
Look, I'm just saying at some point they should practice self-care and decide the timer is not that important, right?
It's not worth it.
It's just a number, chat. You wouldn't be like programmed to care way too much about a number by decades of playing video games, would you? Yeah, anyways, that's it. That's it's been great. I'm glad people have been joining me on my journey through my first Yakuza game, and I'm really looking forward to some of my co-hosts getting to play that game. Aside from that, though, understandably, I haven't played a whole lot else.
Right?
Can you believe that?
What? No way.
But we did play something on Friday.
We did.
Let's talk about Concord first.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about Concord first. We're going to talk about Concord first because...
You are, without exaggeration, the only people I know who played that beta. I went looking. Manually checked. These people talk about video games. Did any of them play Concord? These artists talk about Destiny. Did any of them play Concord? It's like it didn't exist.
I don't know what its viewership is currently at.
Well, nothing.
What's on now?
Oh yeah, it's offline now. When we went live with it, it was like 9,200 or 8,200 people watching on
And
Twitch.
almost all of those were one person. I checked. It was one of those.
Yeah.
I'm sponsored, and it's like 6,000 people. In
Yeah,
there.
I think that's about right. It was about 6,000 from that one person. Let's talk about Concord.
Sure.
How the fuck do you sum up the absence of the wind? How do you express a void?
I think the most frustrating part is it feels good to play.
Yes, that's
Like,
it feels solid on the controller.
I think even some of the character ideas, like the mechanics, are kind of fun. Like some of them have some sort of ideas that are neat to play.
Like it doesn't have it though.
No, it doesn't.
No.
It's missing.
It doesn't have it.
Like-
It can't get it.
Yeah, because I'm not really into shooters, but I've definitely played these free-to-play games that had it. Like Genshin Impact had it initially. Hearthstone had it. I imagine if I had actually gotten into Overwatch back when it first came out, I would have been like, this has it.
Yes. It still has it more than Concord has anything.
Yeah, like that character they showed off for Overwatch today. I was like, man, after Concord, she looks great.
Yeah, those Concord designs are real rough.
Yeah,
that's something we noticed on stream. They all just have a human face pasted on.
Yeah.
Like every one of them is just, it's just a human.
It's really weird.
It's weird.
It's really weird. Like they just needed to do facial mocaps, so they all needed to have human faces, is what it felt like. And that's not even like the problem. The problem is, and I'm not this type of person. I'm really not. But this actually feels like the first time I looked at a large cast of characters and gone, man, this is really designed by committee. This really feels like you look at a thing like Overwatch or any number of gachas, and you could sort of see how the angle made sense. Like where the drive is, where the passion is, where the sauce is. Here, it's sauceless. This is the driest 20-pack of nuggets I've ever fucking eaten.
Yeah.
This is why I was like, hey, at the end of the day, if you making compelling designs is just you being horny, that's better than where I just ended up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like somebody
I
wanted to make those characters.
Right.
Like, I really do feel like you gotta assign, like, because this is what a lot of gacha games do. You gotta assign an artist a character. Maybe you give them a vague outline based on the mechanics they're gonna have, and just say go. And it's up to them. Because that way you get any thoughts at all.
Yeah, it's weird. I gave them a lot of rope before we played the game, assuming the designs and the designs and character traits would endear themselves to me at all in the process of playing, and it actually did the opposite. All of their quotes, even because they have quotes, they have clips, they have things they say when you respawn or start the battle or win or do any number of things, and every single one slides off the brain.
Yeah, and the weirdest part of that, every time you spawn in, they say the same thing. It's like one voice clip they have for each character. I'm like, why would you do that?
Why wouldn't you have more than one of this thing I do 17 times?
Right, or why would you even have him say it more than once? It's just a weird mistake. Like, Overwatch doesn't do that.
Yeah,
They all say things at the beginning of the round.
Well, they also say things when they spawn in, but not every single time. They'll still like Reaper will just be like, cope seed.
Yeah, they'll have multiple lines.
They'll have lines with character.
What is happening instead of the same quote they say every time.
No, the pressure of the battle changes, and you hear like Tracer say something, and you're like, I hate the person you hate the most makes good point. Yeah, it's really weird. It's really fucking weird. I've never played a game where every character design is just without any chemistry.
It's very strange. It's like, how did we get here?
It's just Concord like gives me the same feeling of juicelessness as Starfield does, where it's like we're kind of a little bit retro futuristic, but not really enough for that to be our thing. It's
Well,
like,
I mean-
it's like the LaCroix of aesthetics.
Right, like the thing is, like with Starfield, and I'm sorry to just use marketing slogan here. That is NASA punk. You can look at it and get that vibe at all. This, it's just Guardians of the Galaxy with Destiny environments. That's not a vision. It feels like I feel like I'm going insane playing this game, engaging with this game. You know that everyone knew what their job was. And they, on paper, fulfilled that need.
Yeah, on paper they did. It's so weird. And like we were talking about this, and you even just said no, you're just in Destiny levels.
Yeah.
Like straight up.
Straight up.
There's nothing else these would be in. There's I'm on Mercury.
They're not even the coolest. Like, it's not even Mercury. It's like Moon and God, what was the other one? Because that's the thing. It doesn't have like crazy hot fire vibes. It doesn't have the Venus vibes. It doesn't have the coolest vibes in Destiny. It has like kind of the lower tier like personality Destiny maps. Like, those are beautiful. Like, there's that one on Earth that's got like rustic metal outside, and there's some stone interiors, and then you just get to see the ocean in the distance. It's a beautiful blue level, and this was sadistically exclusive to PlayStation for a year. I literally got sad when people were like, yeah, this is a PlayStation exclusive level for a year. I was like, that's fucked up. This is like my favorite level for multiplayer, and you kept Xbox people from it for no fucking reason other than you're insane. Which didn't work, as I understand it. It still sold more on Xbox, so good job, Sony. Anyway, it's dire out here. The game feels good, but the skills, the abilities themselves are not compelling. They're like less compelling versions of a bunch of Overwatch abilities.
Yeah, some of the characters do run really way too close to Overwatch characters.
Jetpack person is just, we didn't understand that the cool thing about Farah was that she has the shift jump, which is the thing that is like the rocket jump. It's the big boost. And then you can use the other thing to feather it out. See, that would give you too much mobility, and the aiming speed in this and all of it is kind of slower.
Right.
So they don't want to give you that.
Yeah, I even still ended up enjoying her because it felt like a very different feel than Farah, even though she was clearly Farah, just because they gave her air dashes and triple jumps, and it was more of like, oh, you have to use the environment to get high, and then you can say hi pretty easily because you have hover and stuff. So I ended up enjoying that, but I definitely, it's not the same kind of fun as like Farah is.
Right, and her projectile isn't like as fun either. You know, Farah has the enemy manipulation thing where you do the right click and it shoots the pulse. No,
they don't seem to have many things that can move enemies. There's like one. No. There's the guy with the wind gun can do that, but I didn't even end up using him much because it was just weird. Yeah, it's bizarre.
It feels like this thing's utterly doomed. I believe Chris was there at the beginning of us playing it and said, if this takes off, I will lose all faith in humanity or something. And accurate, man.
I mean...
Yeah, because, like, it will just be so baffling. You'll be like, this? All these other things fail, but this? All those other things that are free fail, and this that is $40?
$40.
I'm like, they might... Shooter Bros may pick it up, but I feel like it's a little bit too weird in sci-fi for the average shooter bro.
Yes,
like
it is.
It is like hitting this perfect middle ground of not crazy and cool enough for people who like sci-fi stuff.
Which, to be clear, if you made this for shooter bros, that's a better idea. It's just the Expendables. Every week there's a new episode of the Expendables type cutscene as these people like shit talk and do their pissing contest and stuff, and you know, that's compelling. No one thinks watching cutscenes of these characters is compelling.
Honestly, like, if there is one hero shooter left in the industry, like the hero shooter, but it's all guys from movies your dad likes.
Yeah.
Like they need to be like, okay, this new character is Conan. He's just Conan.
Yes.
Here's RoboCop. Here's John McClane. Here's
Yes.
Blade.
Yes.
Yeah, instead of kind of coming in the same sort of like Overwatch is also a somewhat futuristic aesthetic, but a super boring version of it is what you did for this. So it is just like you're trying to hit the exact same market sector,
Yeah, and
it's being worse at it.
what I was saying during that is like when you play Overwatch, it's on Earth. So that gives you some grounding, and these changes from normal, like actual current day stuff is compelling and interesting because it makes you wonder, like, okay, with the synths, like what caused all of that? The automatons? Like what caused all that? What is the deal with that? There's a war here, there's lore, and as I said during it, they got to cheat with Overwatch. They got to regurgitate the entire world building of a fucking MMO into a shooter. That's cheating. Just to be clear. But it's still, there's sauce there. There's something there.
Yeah, and instead the first cutscene in this is like, we got a map. It's because we were hired as free gunners. The map is for something.
The map
so
was
exciting.
The map was given to us because it's given to all free gunners because of the sacrifice and the efforts of the original pirates, right? They're so cool, and fuck the association. They're terrible. Anyways, let's go do whatever it is that we do.
Which I guess is shooting each other for 20 minutes at a time.
And that's Concord.
Man, you know, when this game comes out and doesn't perform, I bet they can fair games.
Maybe.
The funny thing is, based on the trailer they put out for Fair Games, I bet that has way more sauce. I bet.
Probably.
Because
I'm
it
willing
has-
to bet that Twisted Metal game they canceled probably had more sauce than Concord.
Oh, that definitely had more sauce. It was probably worse to play.
Right. Concord probably is one of the least sauce, or is one of the most sauceless games ever made. So
Yeah.
wouldn't be much. It's like,
Right.
You made Watch Dogs 2. Yeah, that's more sauce.
I mean, it's true.
Oh, God. That's true. I've seen anybody ever be like, I really like that guy with the with emoji mask.
Yeah. The emoji helmet man, very compelling, unlike anyone in Concord.
What was the cat girl with the huge ass's name from Destruction All Stars?
Fuck if I know.
Twinkle Riot?
Something like
yeah,
that.
I think that's right. Yeah, I think you got it.
She was more compelling than any Concord character.
100%. 100%. Yeah, we were talking about it before we went live, and I was like, yeah, the Destruction All-Stars, because of course Angelo comes up while we're playing Concord.
Right. And Angela way worse than anyone in Concord, at least. But, you know.
But there are other characters in Destruction All-Stars that hit for anyone, and it feels like nothing here. It's just, it's so weird.
Concord really does just feel like you focus grouped all these designs down into mush. And that feels like the problem with a lot of these big Western service games that rely on having character designs, where it's like you focus grouped. If you can't make a character everybody likes, and your attempts to do so just makes a character nobody likes.
Right. Yeah, you can't appeal to everyone with every character. That's not how that works. You just have to go crazy with them and make them appeal to someone.
And why would you want to do that in a game that has dozens of characters? Do you realize you have mini bullets in the chamber to get somebody with? Your attempt to make them all like, we'll make a shotgun. Well, congratulations. The people were 40 feet away. So all the pellets just hit the ground before it got to them.
It's really intense.
I think the fucking agents in Agents of Mayhem have better designs than most of the Concord characters.
You know what? Based on us doing a video or maybe just checking it out in our free time years ago, like 8 years ago or something, I'm going to agree. Just shooting from the hip. Yeah. You have succeeded in making a design that neither upsets me nor delights me to any degree, even a 1% degree. I felt nothing playing Concord. And that's weird. Because y'all know I'll give fucking rope to a fucking shooter if it's good to play. Like, I'll give rope to a really sauceless game if it's, like, really solid to play. But this ain't it. There's nothing here. I would just... All it did was make me think about relapsing and playing Overwatch competitive again. That's all it did. That's all it succeeded in doing. You know what I'll be able to do that on come Saturday?
Oh.
a 480 hertz monitor because chat is so deranged that they kept the timer up the whole time, which means we hit every goal in Wave 6. And you know what that means, Bob?
Uh-huh.
That means tomorrow we're doing the final reward of Wave 6. This was the highest reward of Wave 6. There's some other things we... Well, actually, this is the only reward for them.
Right. The
on
others
Wave
are
6.
all...
Everything else was for us, which I thought would stop you. Anyway, we're marathoning 6 versions of Mighty Number 9 in a row. That is, of course, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS3, PS4, Wii U, and PC all in a row, during which Bob will be drawing the countless drawing rewards that you have all gotten all along. It is going to be good. There's going to be chat influencing designs. There was the Potara earring fusion, where chat gets to choose 2 characters to fuse.
God, yeah, we didn't do that yet. We didn't do a ton of these yet.
I just realized with Dan giving that list, Mighty Number 9 is so pathetic and pitiful. They never even put it on Switch. They never even bothered.
Yeah, yeah, it was over. They knew it was over.
That's dire.
So the only 2 versions of this game we won't be playing as Linux because it didn't work on Steam Deck. I'll boot it up after this podcast. The Steam Deck's right over there. It's always in my periphery. I'll check after the podcast because we have the means necessary to hook a thing up for HDMI out.
Okay.
And we can use Bluetooth controllers. I will check again, maybe in the year since. Been over 2 years since we used the Steam Deck thoroughly. I've used it a little bit since. Since. I played Valkyrie Elysium on it.
Oh, yeah.
And then it burned through its battery. I shit you not, in 45 minutes.
Oh, come on, what? It's Valkyrie Elysium. That's not exactly a high-end game.
So I'm going to check. And the other version we're not going to try is the Apple one because the Apple Silicon, all the newer Macs cannot play it. It will not work. Believe me, I'm even sadder than you are about this.
And you're sad about this, we swear.
You're very sad. Those drawing requests are going to be really, really damn good. So be sure to show up for that tomorrow. We get to talk about, oh man, if only we found the hat in time.
Yeah, I should have gone
wear
looking.
it for the stream or for this.
Yeah.
The stream because you were getting the pizza, because we compared the Costco and Sam's Club pizzas.
We did. That was an important part of the stream.
It was important. Agro, have you had pizza from either Sam's Club or Costco?
I had a bunch of Sam's Club years and years ago. Never Costco, though.
Okay, yeah, we didn't have a Costco near us
nowhere
down in
near
Niceville. Up here, we have both.
Mm-hmm.
So that's neat. So we were able to do the comparison. We liked the Costco pizza more. Like the sauce was better, the bread was better, the cheese was more. The sad thing, though, is at Sam's Club, you can get a meat eaters, right?
Yes.
And at Costco, you can only get like cheese and pepperoni. So Sam's Club, you get 3 different types.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really unfortunate. I wish Costco would like do anything other than cheese and pepperoni.
Yeah, apparently they used to do Supreme and they just canceled or like
they canceled it. What did the Supreme say? Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I actually do like it though. You know, after that stream though, I did go back to Costco for another trip to get some rice because they had the really huge thing of rice for very cheap. It was like I go to the Asian grocer. It's $25 for a 15-pound bag of rice of nishiki, right? Mm-hmm. I go to Costco, another rice that of a similar type. It's $15 for a 25-pound bag. You literally swap the weight and the price.
Uh-huh.
So that felt good.
Yeah, they had a lot of good stuff at the. I was astonished by how much better selection they had than Sam's Club. Mm-hmm. I thought they'd be like comparable at all, and they just aren't.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So
like,
you got to take me through Sam's Club here sometime because I haven't been in a really long time. But you know, my impression going to there was the Costco just way bigger, way better selection.
Yeah, like they have a lot more name brand stuff.
Costco is like a god tier store.
Yeah.
They also treat their employees well. Like whenever somebody gets hired at Costco, they never leave. Because it is like that in terms of retail, you cannot work at a better place, is what I've been told by people who work at Costco.
And I still haven't tried the Sam's Club hot dog.
Yeah.
So I got to try that.
Are we gonna have the Costco hot dog versus Sam's Club hot dog challenge?
I do like the Costco
Yeah,
hot
the
dog.
Costco
So
one was
clearly
good.
I should just take that, and we should speed to the Sam's Club, and then we should just eat it in the parking lot.
Do they have churros at Costco?
They don't. They only
don't.
have that at
They have
at
Sam's Club?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's wherever I go, and I'm
wow.
like, I need a churro, happens like every 3 months. I'm like, I must put a churro inside myself now.
You look like someone succumbing to Las Plagas. You got like the giant veins. You're like,
Please, I need a churro and to watch Char's counterattack.
It's so fucked up. No More Heroes 3 really has become the Char's counterattack for Travis, but for me, like somebody posted an image of the Ultraman intro the other day, and for 1 second I was like, oh cool, No More Heroes. Oh wait. Because it's literally, they stole that for No More Heroes 3.
Right, of course.
And I was like, oh, I gotta play that game. It's been too long. I wonder if the PC version's uncapped.
Oh, maybe. I keep being tempted because they keep putting it on sale to get like the full collector edition with the license plate that says Moe.
You mean the giant box I have over there?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have that. I haven't opened it because I don't have to.
Uh-huh.
And whenever we actually get a set back here that has cool things we like on it, that is one of the two things. Like that and Unicorn Overlord are instantly there, and all of my Nendroids. How much? Yeah, they do often put it on sale, and I didn't get it at launch. I waited until one of those sales. What's up?
I just remembered they shipped out another Nendroid ordered like over a year ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they ship it to nice?
No, it's actually coming here. I just don't know
Good.
exactly when.
Great.
I'm just like, is that sitting on my door? Because my mail doesn't show up until like 6 p.m.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sure. That happens sometimes around here. PC Gaming Wiki says No More Heroes 3 is uncapped on PC. See, the funny thing is they can be uncapped, but then have an actual cap hidden.
Right. Yeah, you don't know until...
Like, you can uncap the frame rate, and then the game engine goes, yeah, I don't know, 200? Is that enough? And I'm like, a normal person would say yes, but now I'm fucked up. I need 480 frames per second. So yeah, I'm gonna need to see that. Oh man. Yeah, that's right. You can. People are pointing out you can uncap Unreal Engine 4. Like you can force it regardless to uncap the frame rate. Which reminds me, you can do that with Mighty Number 9 on Unreal Engine 3. Oh. The problem is you hit the shoot button once and it registers it however many multiples of 60 you are.
Right.
So at 120 frames per second, it literally registers it 2 to 3 times because that game is made wrong.
Right. Yeah, of course. On every way.
It really is. Anyway, that's it for Concord. That's it. Talking about Costco and Sam's Club, I think.
Yeah.
They actually had some, like, you remember when I pointed out the protein powder was insanely cheap? They actually have a ton of protein bars that I picked up that were also really cheap.
Did you get their cold brew? Because I was super interested.
Fun thing, that is an icy. That is not a coffee. That is a mocha icy.
I was actually talking about the canned cold brew, but yeah, I was also interested in that slushy thing.
Yeah, that thing's intense. It's 500 fucking calories, which is a lot. That's like a meal for me on this diet when I do the diet, which surprisingly, over the last few days, I've not done the diet while streaming 20 hours straight multiple times.
I don't believe you.
I know, shocking. Anyway, that's it for that talk. Let's talk about Dark Sector. Chat listeners,
is there anything to talk about?
Here's the amazing thing about Dark Sector. Imagine a game that is a smooth ride, that is a perfectly 7 out of 10 game, maybe 6. Downsides, there's barely a plot. It is not motivated well. A lot of the game looks the same. Upsides, mechanically fine.
Yeah, there's a lot of neat little things. I thought I'd go back to this and it'd be terrible or something.
Right, that's why we haven't done it. I was convinced you were dead wrong and it would be a 4.
But yeah, it's just completely fine.
It's fine.
Like, just super mediocre and I honestly thought I couldn't remember things about it, but there just weren't things about it.
There's not things to remember. The worst part is, like, you know how you want gameplay to be compelling? Compelling is too strong a word for the mechanics in Dark Sector is a good way to put it.
I think there's a lot of...
Adequate.
Yeah, there's sufficiently good ideas there.
Yeah, there's a lot of little ideas that could have been something bigger. Like, there's the cool thing of you have the glaive, And you can like kill a guy and then show your glaive at his gun and pick it up and bring it to you. But you don't need to do that. That's just something you can do.
You can do many things in this game. There are, much like Metal Gear Solid 4, ID tagged weapons, where if you pick them up, they deactivate after a very short period of time. So it's like a short-term boost or power-up in a arcadey sense of the word. That doesn't really matter. It doesn't feel like it means something. Like in other games, it would mean something. In other games, it would be like, oh shit, I got this gun. This is hugely important and this is a hype moment. But they don't have like a gun that's hugely hype.
No, it's all just regular guns, and it's your reward for it's your way of trying them out before you have to spend your money to actually buy the gun that doesn't explode.
Because their merchant guy, much like Resident Evil 4, just lives in a sewer.
Yes.
Like he's their version of that merchant dude. Just you go up to his sewer and he's like, hey, what's up? I'm shadowy figure in a booth. Buy shit.
And the upgrade system for guns is so underbaked. It's kind of insane that it's even there.
Yeah.
Because you find upgrades throughout all the stages, and they're basically like power-ups you can slot into something like, imagine gems in like a Diablo game. And they're just stuck in that gun forever. Like, oh, now it has double fire, higher accuracy, but you can't get it back out.
Yeah.
So if you want to even get that same gun with different upgrades, you have to sell that gun, then rebuy it and put in different upgrades.
I forgot to mention, Yakuza Like a Dragon 8 has a brand system, is what it calls it. It's basically Diablo jewels for all the weapons, and they have some cracked out things like magic can now critically hit. Like they do good shit. Anyway, I enjoy that mechanic. Anyway,
I early on, at least I did it right away. I found the trip burst shot pistol, which you hold the pistol and the glaive at once because that's the gun you want to get first.
Right.
And I was able to put double shot on that, so he just shoots 6 bullets at once, and that thing all the way through the end of the game, it killed guys like instantly if they were close to me.
Yeah,
it was great.
It was. That was neat. I have to say the number one most impressive thing about this game, other than like you expect a lot more problem. We're playing on an original 360. This is not the Series X buffing performance or anything. That game didn't have pop-in really.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really see pop-in. And was really competently made. Like the engine's solid and the performance is solid. But I think the number one thing above all that even, you die and you getting back into the sequence is so seamless in a way that I really wish more games were that gen.
Right, yeah. It was unheard of.
And it really seems like this is the way it is because that studio, Digital Extremes or whatever, they worked on a lot of Unreal Engine stuff, working closely with Epic on that the whole time. And then they just made this game on their own engine. It seems like they understood what Unreal Engine is and needed to do and what its problems were during that gen. And since they weren't interested in licensing it, they just made their bespoke, custom-made tool to do the thing they want to make.
Oh, we should mention this is the Warframe developers. This is the first Warframe game, technically.
Apparently, in the pitching process, every publisher hated that they wanted to make what was literally Warframe, but hilariously, by the end of this game, you are a frame.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
You are just 2 mech people duking it out in a shed or a warehouse or something.
And you basically are remaking the knife fight scene from Resident Evil 4, but it's 2 mech suits.
Yeah, it's really
That's cool.
I didn't expect this at all. I thought all of the Warframe would have been sucked out of this. No, you're just, and people in chat are like, this is this specific frame, that's this specific frame, and it's true. Like I played enough Warframe to know. Right, and our character's last name, if I remember correctly, is Tenno.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say is Warframe.
Jack Warframe.
I'm Warframe!
And the Warframe logo, the Lotus thing, is just all over the game. That's the sign for, hey, there's a gun shop.
So, like, I wouldn't sit there and say, you need to play Dark Sector.
No.
What I would say is, it's actually really interesting and educational.
I really wish they made it too.
Same, yes.
Like, I think Warframe's neat, but if they got to just expand on the third-person shooting elements of this and make a good feeling third-person shooter, like a better feeling one, because it wouldn't be locked down by 7th gen, 30 frames per second, and all this nonsense. And you could have more cool powers, because they have cool ideas for powers. Like you get you get a reflector shield where you get to actually stop bullets and throw them back at enemies. And you have the aftertouch on your glaive, so you can.
Yeah, this game has aftertouch aggro. It's just it was everywhere. They even literally call it aftertouch.
Yeah, you show the glaive out.
What a generation! We should have made a theme month that was just aftertouch.
There'd be so many.
And then I'm like, I have to record a cover of Out of Touch that's just lyrics about aftertouch being such a cool mechanic, and then we film a music video.
You know, I was gonna say I can't believe they actually call it the glaive in that game. But after learning that these people apparently just do whatever the fuck they want, I am much less surprised.
Yes.
Is that thing not just called a glaive?
Yeah, is it called that in Kroll?
It's called that in Kroll. I think that's the specific reference they're making. Yeah, there's no other reason to call that a glaive. It shouldn't have been called a glaive in Kroll.
Yeah,
right.
But here it is again.
I think that the people working on the game have literally referenced Kroll. So
right. It is as such as it always has been. That's a glaive.
Yes, obviously.
Obviously.
Oh, yeah, that literally was invented by Krull.
But yeah, if they had it in the mechanics of like Resident Evil 4 where you shoot a guy in the face and then run up and melee him, they have a weird, like not fully done version of that where you have to like get them to almost dead state and then you can do it.
I think the lowest point of the game, aside from the plot, is the music.
Yeah, the music is basically not even there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they really should have tried harder on that. Gotten something with some real kick and drive to it. Because that would have totally really fit what the game did after the opening.
Yeah.
I thought the cold opening sort of feel was really cool. Mm-hmm. I think that's the coolest part of the game plot-wise is that short, like, hour and a half or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like, slowly introducing... we have zombies, but it's a zombie virus that turns people's skin to steel.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And then it's just like, well, now we're just the same one street in Russia over and over again. Or sewers.
Yeah, so or a warehouse.
Yeah.
It's pretty bland.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, if you had a way better soundtrack, and then the second thing I would want is a much more compelling story. And then after that, variety in levels.
Yeah. I think it's funny that I remembered in this, like, that the ending was completely unsatisfying. No satisfaction at all from the ending. And it delivered on that when we got back to it.
So
you
aggro.
You compare it. Yeah, you go ahead.
Aggro. I actually don't remember. What did I compare it to?
You compared it to when Poochie left The Simpsons.
Yes, he did return to his own planet. He died on the way back. Yeah,
it's basically the end of this game.
It's somewhere between that and the tech guy and how we just end it with abruptly leaving the house and not explaining anything, and that's like that. You combine those two things, that is the ending to Dark Sector. You even have a camera that's locked down as a dude abruptly walks away.
And the narrator tries to explain something, like tries to pretend there was a moral here.
It was a horrible thing, but through it, he got his salvation. Credits.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway. Dark Sector. I'm glad we played it. I'm glad it's nowhere near as bad as I assumed it was for all these years. That game was 6 hours?
Yeah, it was really short. It was a baby stream. It was maybe 5.5 because we did half an hour of
pizza. Yeah. Yeah, so it was kind of small. Really unfortunate because you could see a really great game being the sequel to that game.
Oh, yeah. They even have like Zelda dungeon stuff just isn't here. Like, oh, your glaive is like the boomerang from Zelda. It'll absorb the like you can show it to ice or show it to fire and it'll light on fire, be ice powered. Then you can use that to solve puzzles
or engage combat mechanics.
Yeah,
you can freeze water with the ice power. It's so funny. But yeah, no, it's Sean Layden, I believe it was talking recently about how like you don't get to not be a giant game now. You don't get one game out to then make the big game the next time. You don't even get one. You have to make the big game.
Yeah, God, the industry would be in so much a healthier place. It's like, okay, make a small thing, get your workflow together, figure out what.
No, we're gonna make Concord.
Right. I was, it's funny that Chris is saying that because I can't remember if it was around the Like a Dragon 8 streams or on the Like a Dragon 8 streams that I was thinking about. Sony's insane for not letting these studios just make a newer engine, start small. You know, they have so many studios. Like Concord is Unreal Engine 5, apparently.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah. It's been really funny watching the Twitter trend of people being like, this is what Unreal Engine 5 looks like. Because apparently, even though I have to keep saying it, everyone thinks if you have an Unreal Engine 5 game, it has nanite and lumens mandatory. And I'm like, no, it's literally just Unreal Engine 4. I keep trying to explain this to people.
Yeah, because there's a difference between using Unreal Engine 5 and using the newest features that you should never turn on in Unreal Engine 5.
Right, and falling into the conical pit.
Yeah.
That is any new Unreal Engine graphics feature. It's been interesting seeing that trend. I did see one developer get really frustrated at Digital Foundry for talking so much about shader compilation stutter.
Okay.
Because a random person on the internet was like, "Oh, you have Unreal Engine? Oh man, I hope your game doesn't have that." And they like got upset by that. I'm like, well, I mean, they were probably really frustrated when they played a game and it had that problem.
Right.
You know, like me and the
your game have shader compilation stutter?
They informed people later in a reply to them subtweeting that person that no, their game does not have. And I'm like, you could have just pointed them towards the demo and made this a positive experience. Instead, you didn't reply to the person who asked that and then made a whole tweet about Digital Foundry driving you insane. As I'm sitting here being like, one, they're right to inform people. Two, it's understandable for people to be scarred by that. And three, more importantly, the Unity camera problem is so much worse.
Yeah, I'm like, there's been so many this gen with it. Like, that's just the standard for PC game releases now.
Yeah,
everyone's
if you're pushing graphics, if you're high end, then there's a really high chance you have that problem, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do feel for devs these days because everybody in charge of them is completely brain dead and walking them all towards a grave.
Yeah, fucking
But you don't have to be nasty to people on Twitter because of that.
Oh, this person's an indie dev.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
this was just
them, I guess.
They didn't process the emotions of what occurred well. Is the way I would put it for them doing that tweet. The weird thing is, in reply to their tweet, where they talk about how frustrating that is, two different devs, including the Sushi Ben one, started talking about, oh yeah, since, VR games, we had to, one of them, not the Sushi Ben one, talked about how Digital Foundry talking about that made them more aware of it. So they did pre-compiled shader optimization.
Oh.
They looked into making sure it would be a smooth experience because in VR, you can't have shader compilation stutter.
No.
You have to make it smooth. And that was cool. That was cool to see devs talk about the core issue. I see a lot of devs without the hugest technical backgrounds get really upset when technical things are, a concern when it comes to their games.
Yeah, there was definitely like 10 solid years, I would say like 2007 to 2017, where it was you were like brain dead and artless if you criticized a game on a technical level. Like you weren't allowed. It was somehow wrong.
Yeah, and now,
I'm really glad that I think it was Alex Vitalia was like, if you went to see Star Wars and every time Han Solo showed up on screen, the movie hitched, that would take away from the movie.
Yeah, and I'm tired of people acting like this is weird. It's like, no, if you went to a movie and the audio skipped, you wouldn't be sitting there and being like, it was fine, actually. Like, that just wouldn't happen. If your video dropped out on your fucking movie every so often, you're just missing random frames. It's just, you wouldn't be sitting there being like, this is fine. I didn't notice anything. But somehow these people are so insecure and so uptight about the sanctity of the creation of video games that it can't be technically a problem because technical stuff isn't art. Your game running well isn't art. There's no art to that. Except for there is, hey, you know what I'm excited to see? Sparkly Electric Jester 3 running at 480 frames per second. God, that's going to look apt. I'm going to piss myself. That's what that's going to look like. Yeah, that's it. Anyways. I saw someone, however, either in reply to them or elsewhere on Twitter, because the For You tab's great, being like, Digital Foundry is the CinemaSins of games.
I'm like, imagine CinemaSins
What?
pointed out technical problems with
Right?
a movie's production.
Yeah.
Imagine that it was literally anything like that, you Nimrod.
Right. Imagine if there was something that was a useful tool at all.
You motherfuckers are calling the fucking Food, Health, and Safety Organization or whatever. You're calling them the CinemaSins of food because they're like, that's not healthy. That's...
Look, I'm not going to say that comparing someone or anyone to CinemaSins is never the right thing to do. I'm just saying I've never seen it done correctly. So maybe if you plan to do that, take a second lap around that thought.
I mean, CinemaSins' thing is that they're pedantic, but think they're brilliant for being pedantic. That's not what Digital Foundry is at all.
There are
Unless
people
you think all technical issues are irrelevant and nobody should even talk about them, which
There-
really just comes off is somebody
Insecurity.
being annoyed, they not understanding it and being annoyed they have to keep hearing about a thing they don't understand.
Yes, that's absolutely part of it. It's just fueled by insecurity. There are a lot of people where if you're meticulous, they instantly assume you're being pedantic,
Right.
which is weird because video essays are a very popular genre. I don't get that at all. Anyways, we got off on a real tangent.
We did.
Did you have anything else you wanted to say about Dark Sector Man, who is the only 7th gen man with hair?
Yeah, he's Lex Luthor from Smallville, but with hair.
No, literally.
That's really funny.
Just to be clear, it is literally that actor.
His voice and all. He does not act well, which doesn't surprise me.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me that an actor from a show wouldn't act well in a 7th gen game's voice acting.
Right, which is an entirely
you know
plot.
what? Instead of getting like big movie celebrities to do games, we need to go back to that. Like we need some company to mine the Arrowverse for the characters in their upcoming games.
Yeah, or I don't know.
Or just get Sam Witwer. Sam Witwer should be in more games.
Sam Witwer should be in more games. More games such as Days Gone 2. They should make Days Gone 2.
Hey, how about The Force Unleashed 3? We need to bring back Starkiller. He sucks, but I would clap really hard.
Yeah,
I'd
that
clap
would-
almost as hard as if Mara Jade came back.
You can set it in the proper timeline or like time period, so Sam Witwer would be the right age, and then we can scan him in, like get
Ooh.
old Sam Witwer.
There we go.
Just make him a clone of just make the character explicitly a clone of Palpatine, and also have Sam Witwer voice Palpatine.
Yeah.
and just have them talk at each other and make it a gag.
And it'll be
Or
funny.
and then as a joke, Starkiller can do a Palpatine impersonation that's just the same voice because they're the same guy.
No, this is good. This is good. Speaking of which, I guess now is a good time to bring this up. We did the gamer premonitions for Star Wars Outlaws earlier this week. It was a really good episode.
Yeah.
I think there are many good, strong, powerful premonitions. The extras was good too. Highly recommend the extras on that one. Man, that game is coming out next month on top of Visions of Mana and that Famicom Detective Club thing. And one other thing I'm blanking on right now.
Yeah, I
That's
really want to
true,
play
it is.
but I'd
Luckily,
probably,
I already consigned myself. Like, I'll get it on Black Friday. I'm not paying $70 for a Ubisoft game.
yeah, that's fair.
This isn't directly related to anything I'm playing, but you know what I discovered this year where I'm not buying $70 games?
What did you discover?
I can buy many more games
Whoa!
with the same
Amazing.
amount of money.
You know what I discovered during this year where I'm not playing $70 games at launch?
Games are better.
I'm discovering they patch the catch rate of golden sharks, and I make an enormous amount of money on Dondoko Island. And Spiff is very mad because he didn't catch one.
Skill issue?
That's exactly what I said. Yeah, I got like fucking somewhere between 5 and 7 of these golden sharks that Spiff didn't see one of. Real good. Anyway, I am a big fan and proponent of not getting a $70 game at launch unless it is something that is really compelling to you specifically. Like, for example, if Visions of Mana was $70, you bet my ass is there day one.
Yeah, I was checking Prime Day because they put FF7 Rebirth on there. I was like, oh, it's on sale. $55. Like, oh, right, $70. So
That came out 5 months ago.
Yeah.
This is your Prime Day sale?
It's still selling pretty well. Like it has a really long tail, so it makes sense that it's not going down as fast.
It just feels like to me a lot of the $70 games are just holding strong. I mean, worth noting, Star Wars Jedi Survivor is still $70 at Target. This is what I'm talking about.
That's the game I got like for $40
on sale.
Like a few months after it came out.
Yeah,
but because nothing saying
I think I got it for like 27.
Yeah, that game came out 14 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've, like I said, every company like internalized the method of never put it on sale. I mean, never lower the price. Put it on sale for the price it should be. That way, if somebody's really impatient, we get more money from them.
Mm-hmm. It sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. Every industry's doing that.
Yeah, before it was just Nintendo did that, they wouldn't even put it on sale. But it's like, you know,
they would put it on baby sales. They would put it on sales equivalent to fucking $55.
At least Nintendo has the justification of our games keep selling. We don't have any fucking reason to lower the price.
Right.
This game sold 40 million copies at $60. We'll lower the price when it isn't in the top selling games every month, 4 years after it came out.
Anyway.
Like they aren't running a scam like Rockstar is with GTA. Or it's like you get free currency for cheap or make us the best-selling game of all time. It's completely fucking undeserved, and frankly, we should have an asterisk next to our name in every single one of those books that we're in.
That's true.
I'm like that one episode of King of the Hill where with the football record where the guy's just on crutches screaming asterisk.
So we're done talking about Dark Sector.
All right.
Bob, I assume you played something while I played 51 hours and 40 minutes of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth.
Yes.
What did you play?
I played probably around 50 hours of SMT5 Vengeance.
Holy shit. Aggro, did you also play SMT5 Vengeance?
I didn't play that many hours of it.
Chris? Did you?
No, I did not play any.
Bob, the floor is yours.
There is a brand new zone in this version. It seems to have just outright replaced an old zone.
Ooh.
So I kept being like, well, I'll stop and go do something else when I'm done with the new part. And then the new part kept going and going and going. So that was cool.
Was it Animal Crossing?
No, it was not Animal Crossing.
Oh.
You go to Shinjuku. It's just surprisingly you didn't in the original game. But yeah, you got the iconic Twin Tower building there that showed up in G Gundam and in many other animes.
I'm like, this motherfucker says Samurai Deeper Kyo.
You mean the City Hall building?
Yeah.
Okay. So unfucked up Shinjuku.
No, it's still.
Okay. I could have sworn one of those areas was called that, but it may have just been it threw 10 parts of Tokyo at me. My mind went, surely Shinjuku was in there.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's really neat. That's easily the best part of the game. It's really weird when I beat it and it's like shift back to original game. It almost doesn't even make sense.
Oh,
I'm like, oh, all right. I guess we're just doing this whole open world zone for almost no reason. All
I'm
right.
sure by the end it'll totally mesh.
I really hope that there's something after where the game originally ended, because it feels kind of bad to be like, oh man, there's all this new stuff, and then to go back to that, which is like the original final zone of SMT5 was good.
Yeah,
it's still a good zone. They've added the rail system to it, like they have to all the open world areas, that makes some ways to get around.
Cool.
But it doesn't feel as good after what you just came through. Because there's a lot less story going on and all sorts of stuff like that. Because the new game, like Vengeance, adds so much story content, it's kind of crazy. And it feels like this final open world area is like, yeah, there's side quests sitting around this big map.
It's a big maze.
It's a big maze. I was disappointed that they also saw the return of dungeons. Those are still in.
Okay. There
are still very few of them. But they are the same really weird design where they take away everything that makes the game fun, basically. Instead of being like individually designed areas, they're all made with obviously big cubes. So everything's super blocky.
Okay, yeah.
You no longer have stuff to pick up in the dungeon like you did in the open world. Like in the open world, you're always looking for min-mans and soda cans and stuff. In the dungeons, it's really just, you got to go through this.
Right, yeah.
Just go in a straight line. You can't even get a lot of experience from it because it's hard to get the thing where you do multiple battles in a row to trigger. And it's weird. They added mechanics to the dungeon, though, because before you just kind of walk through the dungeon and there weren't any mechanics. So they added this thing where you hit a button and it flips the whole dungeon upside down for that room.
Okay, yeah.
This could be good, but it is terrible.
Yeah, I've seen that in games before.
Right.
That exact one.
Yeah, no, that's a typical dungeon gimmick you could see in a lot of things like Zeldas and stuff. But the way the camera moves and reorients you is so disorienting, and the rooms all look so samey. It just becomes like, I'm just gonna have to every one of these because I cannot tell. I cannot figure out where I am after I flip. Doing the flip makes the camera fully like rotate 180 degrees, then another 180 to go vertical. I'm like, I'm lost. I'm gone.
Yeah, this kind of sounds like the Mega Man X7 level. You know, where you're on the underside of the platform and it flips the stuff and you just go, I don't know.
And they have this feature, because the animation for it's super long. You can skip it, though, and then be completely lost.
Nice! So, okay, just do the 3-dimensional, camera math in your head, right? Just always be there.
So that's unfortunate. I was really hoping they just took these out of the game because they don't add anything. And I like SMT5 a lot, but they're definitely, that would be the first thing I just cut out. Luckily, it's only probably like 2 or 3 hours total. Like, they're not long. It's just demoralizing.
That school was not very long.
Oh, yeah, and the school was way better than any of the dungeons.
Oh.
Yeah, the school's like a designed area where you have little hallways and rooms and stuff. These dungeons, I don't know, like they are literally made from a template where you can just imagine everything's broken into exact like 12 meter by 12 meter squares pasted together.
Oh.
Huh.
Yeah, it's really weird, and when you hit it, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, oh, we're in the budget dimension, like hard. One thing they added to the final area, though, super important.
Should I hit the... You let me know.
He's in trailers. I think it's okay.
Okay.
Naho Biho is there. That is...
Yeah.
That is the
Jack Frost?
Jack Frost.
Oh, wow.
Dressed as Nahabino.
That's great. Everybody loves him.
He talks about how good his sewing skills are. Because he's a cosplayer. He just made the suit.
Oh my god.
It's really good.
See, he's a cosplay demon.
Yes, he's a cosplay demon. And he's both a navigator and a summonable demon. So the navigator is like the little thing that rows around the map and it's like, oh, I found this thing on the ground. Come pick it up. He just says he-ho, be-ho all the time. It's great. It's going to be hard to beat him as Scrimblow of the Year, honestly. He's too powerful.
Yeah, we have some good candidates.
There's a pretty good candidate in Trails Through Daybreak.
RPGs, JRPGs specifically, seem to have really strong contenders for Scrimblows.
You always got to have the little freak.
Yeah. Something that Concord should have learned.
What if nothing, though? What if nothing?
Well, I don't know how to feel about that because it's the absence of a thing. Oh man, Unicorn Overlord's How Long to Beat is only 49 hours. I would have beaten that this week if I were streaming that.
No, you wouldn't have. You would not have gone straight to Unicorn Overlord.
No, I totally...
I'd be like, oh, I see an extra battle. I'm not going to do that. It would just get me experience and a cool item. I don't want that, actually. Move on.
Somebody on fucking Twitter was just like posting a fucking character design and they're like, this changed my life. And I'm like, I'm going to assume that's vanillaware, and yeah, I guess her thighs are really thick. Thank you, Twitter, for bringing me this person thirsting over a random character design, enemy unit design, and fucking Unicorn Overlord 4 months after launch.
I also saw that same tweet somehow.
Okay, great.
They're probably like 19 and have never seen poops before. Like, I can't believe these things. I can't believe that things like this exist. I'm like, okay, so you're like 17, hopefully, and not just unbelievably sheltered.
Did anyone link them to the Atelier Ryza games? I feel like that could really change their lives. If that's what we're going for. But no, I wouldn't get distracted at all.
No,
I
you
would
just go, you'd beeline it. You'd be like, oh, I don't want to save the territory. I actually don't care about that.
I don't care.
It's that you get a cool 100% completion thing for doing everything in a region. I don't want that.
Oh, no.
Never.
God, no. That doesn't sound anything like me.
You could even get extra characters.
But Dan, what if I told you that all of the good equipment, all of the best ways to become strong, were hidden behind the Chocobo Hot and Cold game, and a few optional shrines?
I would say that's deranged, and I like deranged shit like that in my video games.
Play Chocobo Hawk and Colt for 30 hours.
And chat's like, Dan, please. And I'm like, I don't need the timer, and neither do you. And the moment you realize that, we can finally heal.
There's literally, we know you would have everything several times over if you did that. But I guess you just keep getting more and more currency.
Right.
You're stopping you.
It's like being strong, but financially.
There's a lot of new demons in SMT5, so it was cool to see those unlock as I went through it. I even found the place where they give you the DLC demons.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really weird. I would never have found this unless I just, like, you know, the Capitol building you get to really early on?
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You can go back there.
Okay.
And there's just a scientist at the one random end of the building like, hey, I have all these missions. I'm like, what? Yeah, you can go meet, God, I can't remember any of their, Cleopatra.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, here's a quest to go meet her.
Cool.
And then 3 other ones or something. I'm like, this is really weird.
I see someone saying they gave the DLC demons. Were those DLC originally?
Yeah, those were DLC in the original.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why they're so awkwardly put in the game. I was like,
Yeah, that explains it.
You couldn't come up with a better way than to have this random lady I would never meet otherwise.
To talk about Like a Dragon 8, one of the most frustrating things is they have DLC jobs. And I'm like, that's fucked up, man.
Yeah, they've gotten a little bit they've gotten a little bit fucking weird with their DLC, because I think like in Lost Judgment, there's even a 4th fighting style that's DLC.
Oh.
Good lord, guys.
Because it's like you unlock the boxing gym activity and you get the boxing style from this.
That sucks.
Yeah, Sega's pretty shitty about DLC. They're like one of the shittiest Japanese companies when it comes to that kind of thing.
Yeah, it feels like it. I don't know why.
Yeah, I know that they are selling something for SMT5. I'm not sure what it is, but I think
it's a thing. First of all, it makes the Mitama appear everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh.
Constantly.
Oh, so that's
that's their power up DLC. But I also think there's and chat will correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the quests to get the fiends, like the Matador and the Pale Rider and Trumpeter and that shit, are DLC.
Those are in now because I unlocked the first one of those. That actually introduces pretty well because you just go back to the your place where you fuse demons
through the world of shadows. Yeah, and she's like, "Hey, I found this thing.
Right,
go get your ass kicked."
Yes. Yeah, I actually haven't gone back to actually do those quests because I know what's at the end of it, and I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah, actually, I'm like, because when she's like, here's an item, and then she says a whole bunch of cryptic shit. I'm like, what does that even mean? So I just Google the item, and I see the name, like, oh, nope.
No.
You don't want to challenge him to a duel?
I don't. Like, I am unfamiliar with his game, but all I can see is fucking Pokemon Trainer Red standing on top of that mountain waiting for my ass.
Yeah, it is that.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that Matador was like one of the most it filters you bosses in Nocturne, so it's really funny to bring him back and give people trauma.
Yeah, that's important.
I'm trying to remember. There was something else in that.
I can solve by talking about I have everything I could possibly need to craft the ultimate tier weapons in Lat 8, except a single item. One. I only need one of it, called a cough drop tin. And guess what they sell as DLC?
Oh, what?
I can buy the weapon crafting DLC pack for like $5, which comes with a few of those.
Okay.
And I could just become enormously stronger.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna be real, I would just do it. I'm a cuck. I'd be like, okay.
The level...
If the option is that or farming, I'm going to just do it.
I don't even think I can farm now. But yeah, apparently they also gave it to you if you pre-ordered.
The level cap in the original is level 99, and apparently they've risen it to 150 for this version.
Nice.
So I've been saving up. You get these things called Gospels, which will level up your main character. Your Nahabino.
Gospels?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've just been holding on to them, being like, when I get 10 levels away from 99, I'll just spam all of them and be level 99. And then to find out, 150 now, I'm like, that's just depressing.
Yeah,
I'm never going to have 40 of these.
There's no way.
In the thought that I might need to buy that DLC to even have the hopes of leveling up that high is insane.
Well, you don't have to get the level cap in every game you play.
No,
Yeah,
but there's literally a portal I found is like, you're not high enough level yet. And it won't tell me what level's high enough.
And I didn't have to 100% Dondoko Island, but it's not about what you have to do. It's about what you feel you need to do.
And if I want to fight Nocturne Man, I might need to do that.
Oh yeah, that's true. He'll fuck you up.
Yeah, I tried to do that fight like 3 times or so in the original.
I wonder if they'll do the thing they did. Do they do the thing they did in a Digital Devil Saga, where they play the Nocturne normal encounter music for it?
I believe
which I always thought was really funny because it's explicitly, you guys are a normal encounter to him. He doesn't give a shit about you.
Yeah, no, I think that is the case. It's been like 2 years though, so I don't remember.
People are saying it's a remix of that battle theme.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many songs in this game. It's great. They managed to maintain that super grungy aesthetic of the SMT5 soundtrack through all of it. Every song I've heard has been incredible.
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm glad I played Lat 8 first because the soundtrack's really good. It really is. But SMT5's a whole nother, that's a Mick Gordon tier sort of deal. Did you have anything else?
No, well, I guess I shouldn't talk about spoilers like that. I'm not.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil anything. I feel like I might have already said maybe too much, but
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Hey, is that everything you played?
Yeah, I bought Flintlock, Siege of Dawn, because that came out last night.
Weird. It came out.
Yeah,
that's weird.
It's out. It's $40. If you pre-order, it was like 38 or something. So I did that. I haven't been able to play it yet though, because I was set on I can beat this game tonight. That was incorrect for SMT5.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I got to what used to be the final area. We'll see if I can beat it by next week.
Aggro, what have you been playing?
I did get to play just a little bit of Flintlock.
Was it during this podcast?
No, it was earlier this morning because it unlocked the moment I go to bed. I only got to play a very little bit past the demo. It was really nice to have it, running on a PS5.
Right.
It's pretty nice. That game, I have to say I'm not far enough yet. I either haven't done the combat enough or how do I put this? I don't feel like I have enough offensive options for how aggressive the game wants me to be. So either its combat system is just off kilter and weird, or they did this thing where the other half of the moves I need to make it make sense, they put in a skill tree.
Oh.
Also, having gotten out into a couple of these areas, I can very strongly say that all of the Souls-esque things are the worst parts of this game. Why?
Yeah,
Why did
that sure seems to be the case nowadays.
You didn't have to do it just because Souls did it. You didn't have to do it that way. You're not even ripping off Dark Souls. You're ripping off God of War. Do it the way God of War did it. The template's right there.
Yeah, that's the thing with so many of these Dark Souls light games. It's like, you know, it'd just be a better game if you didn't have that. Like that's
like the way these areas are set up. I'm like, you understand they made these decisions in Dark Souls for like reasons, right? That interacted with other systems.
No, why would we do that?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm still early days enough that like, oh, this kind of attack is coming in. Whoops, I hit the wrong button. Because the game is halfway between God of War and Dark Souls, and all the buttons are wrong.
Yeah, I'm going to need to get in there and see because I've gotten to the habit with pretty much all FromSoft games. Just I have my own button set. I'll figure it out. So I might have to do that with this game too. Like, no, you were wrong. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, your control scheme was wrong.
Like you've got R1 for attack, and then like 3 deep in the skill tree is hold R1 for a charged attack. Because R2 is your Bloodborne pistol.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I have eaten shit over and over by just firing off a random shot when I thought I had a moment and just taking some shit to the face. But like, there's so much in this game that's neat, and I feel like after 20 hours or so, it's all going to come together and like, oh, this is the game you should have let me play the whole time.
Yeah, that's the way it works sometimes with these smaller action games. Like, no, you need to introduce more of your mechanics up front. I know in the demo they gave you that thing where you could hit like another button and attack with the wolf pretty quickly. Did you get that quickly in the demo or in the full game at least?
Oh yeah,
okay.
like the demo is just the first part of the game.
Okay,
it's straight up just like that. So everything you get is there. It's still the same 3 trees that they gave you. I finally figured out how the reputation system, the Souls thing, works, because they don't explain it to you in the tooltip correctly. Where like every time you do a different thing in combat, it ups your multiplier. It is that when you next get hit, it will bank your base amount without the multiplier and kill the multiplier.
Oh.
Or you can manually bank it with the multiplier.
Oh my god. Yeah, that tooltip was just incorrect. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was bad. I got, I'm guessing it's just going to be axes the whole way through, because I picked up a second axe that just had a little bit worse damage and did burn. I have seen clips, GIFs of like a long rifle that is one-shotting weaker enemies and goes like Sniper Elite slow-mo follow the bullet across the map.
I did get that at the end of the demo.
Okay, cool.
So you shouldn't be too far from it.
I have, I just need to learn how this parry works. Because this game, like, it's a little floaty. All the movement is a little floaty, especially when you're jumping.
Yeah.
So even when I'm locked on, I never feel locked in to the enemy I'm facing. So quite often I'll be, turning around and the enemy will do a 25-foot lunge.
Like they do.
And then I'm dead.
Like Elden Ring anytime you try to heal.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's square. The heal button's on square. And I haven't played a game like that in so long that I just waste all of my potions the first combat every time. Although one interesting thing this game does is I found a grenade just out in the world, often a little like hidden thing, jump over this and activate this thing to jump through it, and they refill on rest at your bonfires. Yeah, and like you can apparently like find more of them to get more uses of them. And I was like, oh, okay, it's gonna be like a fireball. It's a ranged thing to do some damage. I threw that thing at a mid-level enemy and it fucking despawned.
Yeah. That's what you want.
Right?
Yes. I'm like, okay, it's an I don't want to deal with that guy because why did he respawn? Why did you have to do this Dark Souls style? But yeah, I mean, most of this stuff is just, I'm going to have to play it a little more. I'm going to have to see how it shakes out. It is weird that this is the second AA God of War-esque action game I've played this year.
Right. Yeah, because Banishers, right?
Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden, and
Thank
now
you.
Flintlock, Siege of Dawn.
I need to beat this before Black Myst Wukong comes out, because there's no way I'm going back, I don't think.
Oh, I also saw Nobody Wants to Die is out. Yeah, which as I say it, I realize I'm going to have to describe. We saw it a couple of times this summer. It is a like it's one of those cyberpunk noir detective things, but it looked like you were manipulating time to solve crimes.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I remember this.
I couldn't get a trailer to show me how the game actually looked, and then I looked up some Let's Plays, and it turns out they're all like 5 to 6 hours long.
Yeah, weirdly enough, this game's reviews on Steam are doing pretty well, and it is on sale for the launch for the next week at $22.49. This is made in Unreal Engine 5, and we were kind of like, what the hell? Yeah, it's really weird. It's really weird that this exists, especially at this price point. I'm very curious what the deal with this game is.
It looks like it's an upscale experience.
Yes.
More than like what you could cynically like, no, it's a walking simulator. It's not a real puzzle game. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I don't know why I thought of it. I also got to play the DLC for the Talos Principle 2. A bit of it. Road to Elysium. It is broken up into 3 sections. Orpheus Ascending, which I went into and ducked out of because it is all lasers. It is all lasers all the time. That's all it is. It's, do you like lasers? Get ready for us to fuck you in the ass with laser puzzles. And your boy is not super great with complex laser puzzles.
Really? So I'm pretty sure the Portal 2 co-op has laser puzzles. I'm pretty certain
Exciting.
of that.
Oh no, those the puzzles in Portal are like, get this from here to there. The puzzles in Talos are like, get this laser, like here's a red emitter and a blue emitter, and you have 3 connectors, 2 converters, and 3 RBG converters. That you need to put a red and a blue laser in to make a green laser, or a red and a green laser in to make a blue laser, or a green and a blue laser to make a red laser.
Gross, red, green,
And uninstalled.
And unless you've got a box, everything's activating on the same plane, so you need to make complex crisscrossing trees of lasers to get to the right. It's a whole thing. I don't know. I'll go back to it. Isle of the Blessed's been good. It's the middle one. You're on a beach, and it's just more what they literally describe in the game as medium-level puzzles, which I guess are just the regular ones. It's just 3 more areas, 8 puzzles, a special puzzle, a couple of golden puzzles, and a big center pyramidfierdron thing lifting out of the sand that looks crazy. I'm not sure what the third one is really about. It's called Into the Abyss, and it seems to take place during the regular game. It's like return to the most dramatic moments from the Talos Principle 2 while being challenged with new puzzles. Yeah, I don't really know what the deal with that is.
Okay.
But I mean, it's more Talos Principle 2. It's more of those puzzles. It's more of those robots expounding and pontificating on stuff. So it's been super great.
Cool.
I really like feeling like the smartest person who ever lived when solving a puzzle designed for me by someone clearly smarter than I am.
As long as it does not involve lasers.
Like a couple of lasers. Like 2 or 3 lasers max, but also give me like a tunneler, you know, or like a fan or something. but that's all I've been playing.
Okay. Hey, Chris, what have you been up to?
I have played nothing but Trails Through Daybreak. I beat it
Oh wow.
this morning.
Nice.
I will
was
start
my
by
dream.
saying,
What?
That was my dream for SMT.
Bob's like, he stole my dream!
Falcom, you need to cut one segment from all of the final chapters of your games. You need to just cut it out. Just remove one entire section. Because why was the last chapter of this game like 10 hours long?
I was like, is this like some specific kind of section they keep doing, or it just all needs to be shorter?
It just needs to be shorter.
Hmm.
Because for the record, that wasn't the final dungeon. The final dungeon took me like 90 minutes. It was the process of getting to the final dungeon, entering the final dungeon. It's like, you could have cut like 3 hours off this. Maybe more like 2. But and they always do this every time. It's not as bad as in Trails in the Sky second chapter, where they're like, okay, walk across the entire game world. Your magic doesn't work. Because the thing turned off all the magic. and you literally have to deliver a thing to fix the problem with. And since all the transportation also runs on the magic, you have to walk.
I don't know. I kind of like that. I've played games that do that before. It's like, oh, it's like a grand tour of everything we've done and everywhere we've gone.
And also in that segment, there's fucking additional side quests. Which I did not do when I played that game. I'm like, fuck that. No.
If you finish it before you do the side quest, do the side quests disappear?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that can happen. Fuck that.
Man, that feels evil, because it's like, no, I need to solve the major problem with the
right.
But I guess I can stand here.
Well, the logic is I think in that specific segment they're all monster eradication side quests. So it's like, go this place and kill this important monster. So I guess the argument is, well, you fixed the problem, so somebody else was able to take care of it.
All right.
Trails Through Daybreak is really, really good. It is a Game of the Year first spot contender for me.
Wow.
Based on what I have played so far this year. It might be my favorite. I don't know. It does have the problem where they're like, you could have had a little less here. But it is immensely served by the fact that there is only 8 playable characters. And most of them you meet long before they're playable. Because they don't officially join you till like this point in the story, but you meet them and they're hanging around before then. For context, I think Trails of Cold Steel, like, they immediately give you 11.
Wow. Yeah. No, I was like, 8 sounds like a lot.
Yeah, I currently have 4 in Like a Dragon 8, and I'm trying to imagine 4 more people showing up by the end of this game, which, very possible. I've barely played through the story.
Right.
Feels like. Jesus, though.
And they drip feed them. There's a lot of characters. A lot of characters you get to control in this as guests and stuff. Because the thing that Trails is very, very consistent about is, if there's a reason for this character, if in reality, if you were like in this situation and it would make no sense for this character not to join you, they'll just join you.
Wait, they just
and then they'll
will?
be like, yeah, they'll just join. Like if you're in some situation where it's like, okay, it would make no sense for this person to not go with me.
Okay.
They come with you. And then when they're done, they're like, okay, I got to go do my job now. Bye. Like, we solved the issue that you needed my help with. And that's usually what they do with like the old characters in this game from previous games. It's like, they join you for this segment. The characters are all really strong, much more so than Cold Steel 1 and 2, which I think is like, there's 11 of them. It's like, okay, you should have maybe had half that many, like 6. So maybe some of them could have complete personalities. Elliot.
Some person right now with the name Elliot is listening to this. Is just like, oh.
The new combat system is neat. It works. I don't think it's entirely polished. It's like 90% of where it needs to be. So I'm really excited for Trails through Daybreak 2, where hopefully they will finish that polishing a little bit. I did every single side quest in the game, which is really easy because in the old ones there are secret ones where you have to talk to people. In this, around Trails of Cold Steel 3, they're just put them on the fucking map. Just put them on the fucking map. Why are we hiding them? Why do we want people to go around and talk to every NPC in this area every time the plot advances even a little bit? Just show them where they are. This game has lots of neat things. You can go to the movies because every chapter is split into 2 parts. And this is the same thing this is the same sort of structure as the Cold Steel games, or at least Cold Steel 1 and Cold Steel 3. Because 2 and 4, we're now resolving a problem. So the structure is a little bit different. The first half of a chapter is in the capital city that the main character's office is in.
Mm-hmm.
So you run around the city. Each chapter, they add a new district of the city you can visit, which is just like one little chunk of area that maybe has new stores and new stuff in it. So you do side quests in those. And then you get the real job of the chapter and you go to the different place, which is an entirely different town. So you go to the different town and resolve the problem. During the initial section in the city, the capital city, you can go see a movie.
Mm-hmm.
They made movies.
Oh,
it's just stills and voice acting, but they made these movies.
I was hoping they put people in individual rooms and had them walk around and stuff, have 3D models and everything.
Oh, okay. That's what you were thinking. Like the cameras, you can just move and whatnot. And they're just acting out the scene.
Yeah, almost like you're watching a play.
I thought you were going to say what happened at the end of me doing a successful run on the dating app in Like a Dragon 8, where I successfully wooed a woman, and it was just live action, softcore Japanese style porn.
What?
I enter the room and she's just wearing
thing.
She's wearing the bra and underwear, and she's just like, ooh, and I'm like, you said you were into books. You said you didn't want something physical. You lied.
I assume that's Kasuga's reaction to everyone.
No, that was me. Kasuga's reaction to everyone is like, sex? Oh, what? No, what? What? You can't be talking. What?
Minor spoilers. In this game, the thing you have to get all of to get the material to make a character's ultimate weapon is the movie brochures.
Ooh.
Every time you see a movie, after you see these, should I buy this commemorative brochure? Which you can fucking look at in the books menu and is a real thing.
Huh.
They're real good about that because all the books you've ever found in the series you could read. And normally it's closer to a chapter of something, a short chapter, than a real book, an entire book, but it's there. Mm-hmm. And in this one, they get graphic design, and so you read the newspapers, and they actually have it formatted like a newspaper.
Oh, that's sick.
It's also pretty interesting because the CIA exists in this game and are actively suppressing the news of everything you get involved with. So you can read the government approved version of events. The timeline has pretty much sped up to modern day. They have smartphones and computers and shit. And I talked last week about how it's there's only one car out here in the desert. It's even weirder than that.
Okay.
They have smartphones, but this entire society doesn't have elementary school yet. They have Sunday school, and then people, if you can apply to an academy when you're older. It's nobody's invented the Department of Education yet.
I don't know. Might be preferable. Right? I'm thinking on it. One moment. Sunday school, though.
Between last week and now, I got the my spellcaster builds online, which are always my favorite ones in this because the character just They just cast it just in that's the point where regular encounters stop existing. Especially in this one where I can just switch to the caster and have them start the fight and they go first. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna cast the big spell that nukes the field. Die.
Oh, hey, we're doing the same shit.
So here's a little bit of advice for Trails Through Daybreak. There is a shard skill on the spell casting line of your smartphone, your orbment. Mm-hmm. There is a skill called Arc Feather. What it means is there is a pretty high chance whenever you cast a spell, you do a follow-up attack, which is like you shoot riddling the enemy with a Gatling gun. This skill is insanely fucking broken. If your character's focus is casting spells, get it on them. The thing I love about Trails games is that they just get unhinged with what you can do. Like, one of my characters had 109% crit rate by the end of the game.
Oh god, yes. Wow. That's awesome.
This is also the one where even back in Cold Steel, you can get characters over 100% evasion and put a thing on them so enemies all want to attack them, and now you have an evade tank.
God, I love that in an RPG.
And every time you evade, you counterattack, and every time you counterattack, you crit.
Yeah,
now it's just Disgaea. That's
and in Trails of Cold Steel 3 and 4, you can give them the Master Quartz, which is like your counterattacks do 300% damage.
Jesus.
Trails Through Daybreak is a lot more shonen anime than like Cold Steel's isekai type anime, like combat school type anime.
Mm.
There's a lot of scenes in this game of somebody sensing someone else's power level.
That's really good.
There's also one chapter of this game that I am almost certain was just like, this is just an arc of Jujutsu Kaisen.
You know, that makes sense.
Oh, I'm so upset that Bob hasn't played more of the demo, so he hasn't gotten to the thing. The thing is so cool.
I want to get to the thing, but I have to beat this whole other game first.
Hey, Bob. Hey, Bob. You got Flintlock.
Yeah.
Flintlock's probably pretty short in the grand scheme of things.
That's true.
If I don't know, beat Like a Dragon 8 before you beat Shin Megami, can I borrow your copy of Trails and just do 50 hours?
Just start the demo, Dan.
Well, because then 8 hours into my stream, I run out of game.
That's true.
Right.
That's a problem.
You can't even grind because Trails games prevent you from doing that a little bit.
I was really mad, but then I was like, oh.
They do the thing where once you're higher level than an enemy, they start to give you less experience. But if they're a higher level than you get more experience.
Okay.
So it's really easy to catch up if you're under leveled. But once you get a certain level, it's like enemies ain't giving you shit anymore.
Yeah, 8 hours isn't even half of a stream.
Right?
Not with RPGs here on GigaBoots. While Timer Chan watches over. Don't worry, I'll wrap the rest of Like a Dragon real fast.
Yeah, sure. Sure. If somehow that happens, why not?
I'm not going to say that no game needs to look better than Trails Through Daybreak. I think actually the ceiling should be one tier higher than Trails Through Daybreak. But if you're making an RPG that's supposed to have lots of neat new areas and character designs and stuff, I don't think your game needs to look that much better than this. Like, I just don't. Especially not since this shit runs at 4K 60 or pretty close to 4K 60.
Yeah, the thing looks gorgeous.
It is really funny that whenever you go into the real cutscenes, like the ones that have mocap, it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but it looks like Ruby.
God.
Or maybe Dead Fantasy is more accurate.
Like it has a little bit of that
to it. It's like there's a weird like lighting, like the shaders become slightly different than the normal evenly lit game. And it just gives off Ruby energy.
Chris is sitting there using the Plinkin voice. It doesn't have the nice even daylight lighting of the TV series. The
that's
movies
honestly
are dark and gritty.
I mean, that's honestly my problem with all Neo Star Trek shit. Like all the new streaming shows. It's like, why does it look like a movie? It should look like a fucking TV show. That's actually my problem with most streaming shows now. It's like, hey, assholes, make it look like a TV show. You know, with nice flat lighting so I can fucking see the scene.
No. This is art, which means you can't see some of the scene.
It's easier if I don't give a shit. I'm really glad that Falcom understands things that need to be in RPGs, because so many people get too fucking clever. They're like, yeah, well, they do. It's like, well, you know, if you just have to upgrade your weapon and armor every new place you go, what's the point? Just don't have them do that and give them less money. Like, maybe I fucking want to do that.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
maybe I want to fucking do that.
Yeah.
You ever think of that, asshole?
Maybe I want to get a big, even if it all evens out to the same, maybe I want to get a very temporary big power boost when I get to a new town and be like, oh shit, I do so much more damage now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, everyone wants that. These are facts.
Yeah, it feels good.
Like streamlining becomes derogatory at a certain point. I think this game makes me think we maybe need a new category for Game of the Year.
Okay.
That is like most sopping wet meow meow. Like, because we have most pathetic character,
listening.
but I feel like there's pathetic complimentary, which we need to have.
I know someone in Lat 8 is definitely also that. It's just hard to choose who.
Because there's a lady in this that is like, she's like if Misato from Ava's was somehow less together. Like she's dipping down into Illustrated Guide to Soul Reaper's Rangiku.
Oh my god.
That's really good. Also, yeah, Tomizawa's currently my front runner for this category. I'm just like, there's got to be someone else though.
Main character also gets like that a little bit too. They build him up as big epic. I operate in between the lines of society. I'm neither good nor evil. I take jobs from, you know, like the Bracer Guild who are just the adventurers and these shady guys. And then just like after the first chapter, he's constantly being humiliated. Like, not in the story, but in like all his personal interactions are about him being humiliated. God, I'm so excited for... If Daybreak 2 is out, I'd go and do it immediately. I wouldn't even think about it.
Jeez.
I wouldn't need any kind of break at all.
You're going to have to wait all of 7 months, isn't it? Coming out
7?
Q1 next year?
Yeah.
That's what they seem to be aiming for, yeah.
Don't worry, Bob. This is a short RPG. I looked up how long to be. It's only 50 hours.
All right.
I can just...
That's a fucking lie.
No, it's only 50 hours. You
It
don't
took
have to
me
care about
95.
Well, you did all the side quests. Clearly, I just won't want to do those.
Yeah, Bob doesn't. I mean, he's not even going to do the Sujimon stuff if he plays Lat 8. I'm sure there's something just like Sujimon. And by the way, Agra, there's a Pokemon side mini game that goes throughout the entire game where you recruit the perverts you fight in Lat 8, and they're called Sujimon. Anyway,
Fantastic.
It might have been inflated a little bit because I did start using the speed up to run through areas. Because there is a lot of
I forgot there's a speed up,
and I don't think the clock is immune to that.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, that would make a pretty
so
big
it might
impact.
be closer to like 80.
As I understand it, the PC version is real strong. It might be Durante working on it.
That wouldn't surprise me. He worked on they worked on Cold Steel 1 and 2 on PC, and I don't know if about 3 and 4. I don't know.
And also, you know, it has the only implementation of an anti-aliasing algorithm that's God tier. So that sounds like Durante.
It does look really fucking good, especially like the main character models.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, yeah, this is as good as an RPG needs to look. It really is. They also have buff dudes now, and it's just disconcerting. Because they never had buff dudes before. Like, because it was almost Genshin-like in the body types the characters had.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I have. I took some screenshots with my capture card.
I can slightly delay by bringing up a relevant topic.
I found it.
Oh, okay, you got it.
So this
You're
is
good.
this is the buff body type, and it's just it's just concerning to see.
Oh, what the fuck is
Right?
Oh, I will give one criticism though. In prior games, they have always sold like a costume pack DLC, but you could get lots and lots of costumes, lots of costume pieces. Outside of that, they seem to be much stingier in Daybreak. Like I basically didn't find any except cat ears and a cat tail. So it seems like if you want to give like wacky things that like hang on the character's head or back, you have to buy that. Oh, I forgot to put him in Most Hideous Creature last year, but I definitely get to put Mishy in this time. He is he is the Mickey Mouse of the Trails universe. That is literally what he is. Because in Crossbell, in one of the cities in the games, they have like Mishy Land, which is the theme park. And here's what that fucking horrible little freak looks like. I hate him and want him to die.
I don't know. He's pretty good.
I was expecting something way worse.
God, I hate him so much.
He looks devious.
He looks like, I don't know, he has shitty roommate energy.
He does.
He's like, oh, was that yours? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
One of the movies you can go see is Mishy in Boots.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, just a really great game. It really nails it. It's as good as Cold Steel 3, 4, and Reverie were. Like maybe a little bit better. I'm really happy with this new crew that they've hired between Cold Steel 2 and 3. I don't have anything else to say because it would be spoilers.
I know, isn't that rough? I had so many things I wanted to say about Lat A, but it's like, ugh, I don't want to spoil it. Because at very least, Chris is also playing it.
And Aggro, if you just want to skip to this one and go back to the other ones later, you can do that. They don't spoil shit about what happens in those games. They mention it in the vaguest possible terms. They might mention like that thing that happened in the Empire 2 years ago, or that thing that happened after that. And they don't really get specific at fucking all. So you can actually pretty safely play this and then go back and play those old the remaining Cold Steel games. In fact, I think the only character from Cold Steel, there's only one character from Cold Steel in this even. Because we're still at the part of the story where it's like, this is about these characters. We're not going to bring in the 450 other Trails characters. We won't have the scene where every single character files out of the clown car to confront the final boss, and then each protagonist gives a speech separately, and then each character reacts to that speech separately, like what happens in fucking Trails into Reverie.
That sounds so good.
Jesus.
I still remember when I just looked up, okay, how long is the video all unique battle victory conversations into Trails into Reverie? And it's like 47 minutes long.
Yeah, that's insane. By the way, that clown car, the only car they have. But that's all you've been playing, Chris?
Yep.
Do you have any streams coming up?
No, I'm still roofing. I can talk about roofing a little bit.
Sure.
I made a horrible decision to do this myself because the roof is a 612. That's how pitches of roofs are defined. And a 612 roof means for every 12 For every foot, it goes up by 6 inches, which comes out to like a 22.5 degree angle, I believe. That's what that would be. That is the 512 to 612 is the point where it becomes impossible to stand on a roof easily. You wouldn't think it would matter that much, but it really fucking does. Also, you can't set anything down on a 612 roof.
Yeah.
Even with shingles, the sand does not provide enough traction to keep shit from just sliding off. So I'm unhappy. I would be done by now if it was even 1 inch lower pitch, because I could move across it much faster. I also, this is all the first time I've ever used a roofing harness.
Okay.
So I now know what it's like to just wear a BDSM harness. Because it goes around your thighs and almost around your chest. It's like I feel like I'm the dude in that video about the boss of the gym.
Oh yeah, leather clubs 3 blocks down.
Oh, that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the leather guy in that.
I can't remember why I've worn a harness like that before. Like I know it might have been tree cutting related or something like that, but yeah, you can't wear that without having that thought. I'm serious. You wear one of those and you go, oh my.
I also have to buy a new pair of overalls because I kept sliding down the roof on my ass.
Like intentionally, right?
Yeah, intentionally move down it. And that wore a hole through the ass of my overalls.
So here I am, strapped up in my BDSM suit, a hole in my ass. Well, as Bob and I were saying earlier, we're going to be doing Mighty Number 9 6-game marathon, 6-run marathon, where it's 6 different versions of Mighty Number 9, and Bob's going to be drawing an unbelievable amount of the drawing goals that have been hit all throughout this insane 10-month journey. That should have ended any sooner, but Joe got us sick, and then we had to move, and then Game of the Year. And this year, we're not having it. We're killing that fucking timer.
But that timer respawns at the at the next anniversary.
She has risen. We treat it like it's fucking Easter lore. Anyways, Podlords.
Oh fuck.
Oh fuck.
Oh fuck. It's the Podlords. Yes, that's right. The Podlords. Podlords such as BN12, Red Blaze 27, Suzushiro, Rado, 101 Shades of Wonderful Remastered, WTF Spider-Man. YouTube blessed me with young aggro today, as seen here in his natural state.
Oh my god.
I know the exact video that's from.
I'm struggling.
How about you take 2 of these and call me in the morning?
And I remember the line. I'm trying to remember what it's from.
This is Honey Bee Lovely, and she is my new Oshi.
Is this an actual VTuber, or is this from some game that I'm not recognizing?
That looks like Final Fantasy 14 based on the
does.
graphics fidelity.
But some people have ripped their Warrior of Light out of that game and used them as a VTuber.
Oh my god.
Not surprising.
DFW 3K, Muckbun, Shiny Mew, Chrissy, temporarily embarrassed millionaire, Juice of Frost. Caught up on One Piece after at least 2 years.
Congrats.
Cooper Tank. TFW, Xbox deleted all 3 years of my friends' screenshots and clips without their consent.
Yep.
Oh, we didn't put that in news.
Did we
I
not?
think Dan did.
Oh,
Yeah, I thought it was there.
Okay.
Yeah, I put it there.
Great.
I put it-
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
what is wrong with them?
I don't. God.
Indigo Sykes. Miko in her natural habitat.
Aw.
Normal.
Life's a beach, and then you, hey! Congratulations, Team Big Man, on your Splatfest win.
Cool.
Shinji16 and Lexi would like to remind you that you matter, you are valid, and you deserve to be happy. A raccoon planning on taking over Dan-doko Island.
Oh no! Dan, you're gonna have to hit him with a baseball bat. I'm sorry.
I never wanted it to come to this.
When I see articles about how the Game Pass price hike is a good sign from Microsoft.
Oh, the cope persists.
Yeah.
And here lie the unborn filler bits, their arcs given no time to settle, granting me even greater mindshare. This is the plan!
Tracy, no!
No.
I'm gonna be real. I
Pervert
think
Hatchet Spider-Man.
even if we had gone through this shit at the glacial pace, I don't think anybody would have competed with Jinkaria. He's just there so fucking much, and there's nothing else in that arc for your brain to latch to at all. At least there are some good designs on the Sanbakdo spirit.
Saralina, Timothy Fister, Bearded Joe, Krungle Spum, Pleochrome. So, Princess Maker R2 got priced at $40 at release. I retract my recommendation. Get it on sale or buy Refine.
Noted.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt here. You can submit your own Beyond Good and Evil stream and have it be part of GigaBoots Death Stream.
Not tomorrow, by the way.
Smiling Friends Season 3 is going to be wild. By the time by the time you read this, I'll be in Vegas for Evo. Also, congrats to anyone who pulled Arcweed in FGO.
Nice.
Cool.
Workplace mention on content. Oh fuck, the Bucklord!
Oh no!
Oh my
Holy
god!
shit, it's the Bucklord! Georgios.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, Buck. Hey, Georgios. You doing all right? You seem upset,
He
man.
does seem pretty upset.
Everything okay? Building up speed for 12 hours. When I finally release, I'll just punch the castle to the ground. I'm sorry, Bob. Hideaki Itsuno isn't working on DMC 6 next. He is now making a new Star Gladiator.
That'd be cool.
sure.
I'd be cool with that.
Hell yeah.
As long as it isn't fucking Dragon's Dogma 3.
Uh-huh.
Sujimon, go to the abandoned Ohio drive-in movies.
No, don't do that, Sujimon. It's not safe, man.
I'm okay with them going. They creep me out.
Fair.
I don't need Diaper Man and Weird Fake Cop and Misdemeanor Wiener, which is his name. I don't need them. They can go step on a rusty nail. Oh, and Rom Ram. Thank you very much to our Podlords.
Thank Podlords!
Thank you,
Thank you,
Podlords.
Podlords. And if you'd like to become a Podlord, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/GB podcast. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to many benefits, such as early access to Pokemon Go to the Movies and Chugging Bleach, our 2 monthly anime review podcasts, which will both be over faster than you'd think, Pokemon especially. You also get such benefits as extended gamer premonitions, extended armchair devs, a show that will be returning soon. Promise.
Yep.
And many other benefits for other shows. You also get an entire movie called Isolation 119. This is an actual full feature-length film about a man going to Thailand to get a tax write-off on his vacation to Thailand, and who may or may not just be taking a camera around the house he's renting so he can claim it as a business expense. That's patreon.com/podcast. You also get to fund a patron-funded show, one a month, either a show where we have to watch a good thing and then talk about it, and that's patron exclusive, or watch a bad thing and talk about it, and that's public, but patrons get a commentary track for that horrible thing. That's patreon.com/GB podcast. If you don't have any money, calls always help us immensely to watch and rate us on Thursdays. Leave a comment and subscribe on YouTube, or rate us with a T on your podcasting app of choice. Patreon.com/GB podcast.
We got some news. Not a lot, actually.
We do.
Yeah, barely any.
But there's stuff to talk about.
Right.
Aggro, let's start with yours. Yours is pretty short, and it's a nice sort of positive note, I guess.
Yeah, we had a neat thing happen. As of July 11th, the Switch has been out for 2,687 days, which means it finally beats the original NES's record for being the longest-lasting Nintendo console. That wasn't a Game Boy, because the Game Boy lasted for like 4,000.
Yeah, that was insane how long that lasted.
I mean, like, depending on whether or not you count the Pocket or the Color,
Right.
4,000 is from the original Game Boy to the Advance.
Right. And that's the thing. You should count the color. It's barely different.
That's hard to. It's hard to be like that. That's
Well, there
when
was
a new gen
exclusive
was.
games though.
There were, but are you going to say, like, the Genesis...
The new 3DS.
The Genesis ended before, or even the DSi. Are you going to say the DSi is not the DS? Because that... And that even had exclusive games.
It did.
Yeah. But no one would be like, the DS ended when the DSi began. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's neat stuff.
It's neat. Let's see. I'll go ahead and talk about my news real quick. The MEO teaser we literally didn't talk about last week because I'm like, I don't fuck around. You come back when you have a game to announce. Hey, good news. They had a game to announce.
What? No way.
It is a new Famicom Detective Club game being written by the original dude, Yoshio Sakamoto.
Oh, so this is just actually a brand new one.
This is a brand fucking new one.
Cool.
They announced it with barely over a month heads up. It comes out the same day of Visions of Mana next month.
Nice.
For anyone who doesn't know, this is like a detective game. It's of a genre that didn't really come over in the States. And it was like a whole thing over there back in the day. Something Portopia. Street cred earned. Anyways, I'm really excited for this. I wanted to pick up those remakes, but then it felt really weird that they were remakes and as expensive as they were, and we were in a really busy time period, it felt like, at the time for me. This being completely fresh and new, and also not being $60, thank God, makes it a lot more compelling. The problem is, it's at the same time as Visions of Mana.
Right?
You could have put it on top of basically any other game for me. But I'm very excited. It is, of course, called MEO the Smiling Man Famicom Detective Club. I saw someone being like, it's not on the Famicom, though! Why are they calling it that? As that Podlord talked about, Xbox is now just deleting videos and screenshots that were stored in the cloud from consoles.
Didn't they even say, like, we'll only keep them there, like, 2 days or something going forward?
The EPOS Vox said it was literally deleting after 2 days. The text on the pop-up says 90, but that's clearly not what's happening.
Right.
And they didn't give people heads up about this, it feels like. It just happened to some.
That's... Man.
We barely have any news. Okay, we barely have any news, and somehow we have 3 different stories about Microsoft throwing up death flags. Well, okay, 2 of them are that, and one of them is why, in a certain sense. Also, my last bit of news here, they're doing a Cho Anarchy collection for the fucking Switch? What?
Yeah.
Sure.
You all remember Cho Anarchy? Does anyone?
Of course.
I feel like everyone loves Cho Anarchy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why else is it all weird? The replies to Gamatsu posting this news is a picture of Gachibuchi. Yeah, anyways. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, it's called a Cho Aniki Collection. It's for the Switch. It's a crowdfunding campaign being funded or arranged by Makuake, which I think is that Japanese crowdfunding thing. I'm not positive.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So we'll see if that happens. This company, I believe, has done one of these before successfully.
They've done lots of these collections. They did like a bunch of shooters. They did that Cosmic Fantasy RPG collection that Limited Run is bringing over. They're doing the Tenshi no Uda RPG collection, which hopefully Limited Run will also bring over. You have precedent now, asshole. You can't just back out. And stuff like that. See, I know that Cho Aniki is a series of shooter games, but I only ever knew about this as the Super Nintendo fighting game.
Oh,
really? Okay.
Because that is what one of those old websites before we had YouTube, people would run their, and blogs and Twitter and Tumblr and all that shit. People would run their own websites and write articles about things that interested them. And Cho Aniki's, entire thing is being extremely homoerotic and having guys with dicks for heads, as you can see in directly behind Dan.
I think he just had a head injury.
So there was a lot of very strange, like there was a lot of articles about that game specifically, because you used to have websites like Progressive Boink, Maddox's terrible website.
The best page in the universe. That was I think that was the
Man,
name
I
of it.
bought
Best
his
sign.
book. One of these days I should be like, okay, I'm going to read Maddox's book.
Oh, the Alphabet of Manliness?
Yeah, the
Alphabet of Manliness. I think he wrote a
actually
sequel that nobody bought because he was already pathetic by then.
What was it? He did a second edition of the Alphabet of Manliness where he added random characters or numbers at the end of it. And then he did another book, I think it was Fuck Whales, but he censored it, so it's like F and then asterisks and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, I wonder how he feels about that book nowadays. I wonder how he feels about anything nowadays. I don't even think he's uploaded a YouTube video in over a year or something. I don't know. I have no idea what's up with Maddox.
God, I can't even remember what the other website I'm trying to think of was, but there was a bunch of websites with that same model where people would just like the Sean Baby model.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That eventually kind of became more corporatized with Cracked.
Yep.
Actually, they were very much like Cracked. It was a lot of like listicles, but each entry was really fucking long.
Right.
And
yeah.
You'd get like one or two entries a month, unless the site had multiple contributors.
What an era.
right. I think I saw Cho Aniki on Cinematech on G4. I feel like
Yeah.
they did PS1 cutscene stuff from that. It was real weird.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if Ari no Kacho for Game Center CX ever played any of the Cho Anikis. I don't know.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the coverage of Cho Aniki that I originally saw was from Sean Baby. It was literally an article he wrote about weird games.
Yeah, that seems right. Yeah.
And right now, some like 21 years listening is like, who the fuck is Sean Baby?
Yeah, that's
Right,
fair.
like,
I think Bob's doing that
Even
right
I'm
now.
like, I don't know what Sean Baby is.
It's Sean Baby.
Yeah, I got nothing.
See, half of us. Only half of us know.
That's how the internet was. It wasn't all one thing. There were things you just found and you knew about, but no one else
But
did.
see, it's still like that, but in a more annoying way, because they're all on the same websites
Right.
now. It's not, I found a cool place, check this out. It's, hey, I found another person on YouTube or TikTok. I've done nothing but watch their videos for the last year, and you've never heard of him or them, which is kind of like one of the weirdest parts about talking to people about stuff is when they just assume that you know someone because, well, they have 4 million subscribers. I'm like, a lot of people do.
Right.
Progressive Boink specifically was started by John Boys, who went on to work for SB Nation, Sports Blog Nation, the Vox Media site. In fact, I feel like you've probably seen him on Twitter. Because he is the guy with the Hobbs icon.
Oh, yeah, I've seen him on Twitter occasionally. Yeah, I know who you're talking about now. The name rang a bell, but I was like, eh. Anyway, let's see. Let's move to Bob News.
Sure. They announced the new, you want those games, right? So here you go. Now let's see you clear them.
So, 2. That title, but 2.
That came out. They just were like,
What do you mean it came out?
Yeah, they just put it up on PS4, PS5, PC, and Switch, just out there.
For anyone who doesn't know, this is the sequel to the game that just went. Everyone's really pissed that the games that mobile games advertise themselves as aren't what they are.
Right.
This is a collection of those. I need to play this.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting.
It was on my list of things to play last year, but it slipped to the wayside.
Yeah, I'm super curious what they do this time, if the things are more polished or not, or anything. Oh yeah, something they announced right after we ended the podcast last week.
Right after.
The people who make RPG Maker are making Action Game Maker.
Yippee!
It's gonna be out next year for PC.
Mm-hmm.
They used Godot engine.
Oh, Godot.
Yeah,
cool.
Godot
Or Godot, whatever. I don't give a fuck.
And the trailer shows them making like a 2D side scroller sort of action game, and it says no coding required, just like with the RPG Maker. And allegedly the Godot engines, like, they got it running well enough so you can just do that. I'm super excited. I might pick this up. I want to see how this feels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, please look forward to the spiritual successor to We Play Your Mega Man Maker levels. We Play Your Action Games. Wow.
I mean, cool.
There's
Agro,
anything devious about that.
I still remember your Mega Man Maker level where I'm like, look, as he naturally leads us into this room with environmental storytelling, and it's a giant fucking arrow and spikes everywhere else.
I believe the thumbnail for that episode literally said "aggro is subhuman trash" in it.
Wonder why? It could be anything.
Man, when you need to do another Mega Man Maker, We Play Your Mega Man Maker level streams. I feel like you need to give people like a month advance warnings so they can make levels.
Because we actually it was the 7th anniversary of that in the last week, and they have a brand new version that's like insane and has new mechanics and stuff all over it, like water levels in it. So there's like lava on the ground and a platform you can stand on, and if you hit the switch in the room, it raises or lowers the lava level. That sounds sick as shit.
Yeah, I just need to check out that trailer and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that had a lot of things to it.
That's so neat. Looks at tools people will be taking to your fingernails.
I know, right?
That's just how
Surely
it is.
no one would make a horrible Metroidvania that
can't run even on their machine.
That wouldn't happen.
They're like,
Right?
I don't understand. This part was easy when I played it on my machine. And I go, you're lying. And they're like, it ran at half speed. They admitted that 15 minutes later, of course.
Of course.
I'm like, well, I wonder why it was easy.
Uh-huh.
That's crazy.
The next Ryuga Gotoku game will be announced. The next game from that studio.
The next game from the studio that makes the Yakuza and Like a Dragon games.
Yeah, it will not be Yakuza Kiwami 3. They said
We don't need that. I don't know why. They said that they might, but I'm like, guys, you can play Yakuza 3 on modern platforms.
Yeah.
That game isn't old and busted. Although I've heard that there is some weird issue with enemies blocking way more in the PS4 version than they did in the original version on PS3.
Oh, that sucks.
But that's not a thing we really need. I imagine it'll be another Judgment game, or maybe it'll even be them another weird spinoff.
We're really looking forward to how it takes place in Hawaii, though.
Right, of course.
That's the important thing. How do we make that make sense?
It might even be another weird licensed one, like that Fist of the North Star one that isn't very good.
It could.
They mentioned before that they would like to do a City Hunter one, and I think that would be killer.
Oh, that would whip so much ass.
I'm trying, because they announced those actresses that are going to be in it.
They actually said Shibuya Kaho, who rated us during one of the Lat 8 streams, that she was going to be in it. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's fucking unreal to think about. Yeah, so that's cool that they're doing that again. Goddamn. I'm very curious what this fucking game is. Then.
Yeah, and because it is like the celebrities and people like that, I'm kind of leaning more towards it will be a Lost Judgment or something else set in like the real world and not something like the spin-off like Fist of North Star. But who knows?
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. Guys, did you know that there was going to be a Driver TV show based on the Ubisoft game Driver?
No.
Was Ryan Gosling gonna?
No.
Aw.
It was announced in 2021 for the streaming service Binge. Something that's absolutely real.
You said RIP is so good it needs a TV show. Who should we sign up with? Well, there's this streaming network called Slop Bucket.
Right?
Here's some content, you fucking animals.
So Ubisoft confirmed like this week, yeah, that's canceled. That we're not making that.
You don't say.
But they do say that they're still interested in that IP and are happy to have work on it more. They swear for sure. Absolutely, something else coming up for Driver, I'm sure. Yeah, that's not happening.
No. Ugh.
Man, I can't believe they even announced this. Usually, if a project just dies like this, you just don't say anything. You just like
You pretend.
Yeah,
and you
just-
hope that no one remembered.
right, which no one would have. It's Driver.
It's Driver. You haven't made one of those games in over 10 years.
Yeah. I think that apparently there was a mobile game in 2014 or something.
doesn't count.
So even that's 10 years old.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Oh, right. Gimmick 2, we actually got a gameplay trailer for this week.
Why was this not ready for when they announced it exists?
I don't know.
Because everybody is stupid now and think, well, you get more press if you announce announcements of announcements.
Uh-huh. Dave Wise is composing,
Okay.
and the new art style kind of makes me think of Point B.
Me too.
It's weird. It's that minimalist, like Flash-esque look to it. It's okay. I don't know.
I'm going to try to get an image of Point B on the screen and then also an image of Gimmick 2 just so, people can see where we're coming from here. So here's Point B. Of course, you all know and love him from the logo for our GigaBoots fan Discord for years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's Gimmick.
I'm sorry.
2.
Netflix's Point B.
Don't.
They don't get to claim him.
So I watched the trailer, right? And it's the PlayStation upload of the trailer. And all the comments are like, oh, this is PlayStation's Kirby. And I'm like,
It's not exclusive.
my God, this fucking game has existed forever. Anyways, this is really low res, but you'll get the idea. Whoop.
Now I'm thinking, what would count as PlayStation's Kirby? What is the closest PlayStation IP to such a... Astrobot, maybe?
Maybe.
Jumping Flash.
Even that, I feel like, is a little bit... There's like a playfulness to Kirby, which I don't think is there
In Jumping
Flash. I feel like there's...
Yeah, I feel like
A
there
little
has to
bit
be
darker.
playfulness. It has to be pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah. I like how deep fried he looks because the image is so low quality.
Right.
I felt nothing watching this trailer. I wish I was exaggerating.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not a big fan of, like, I don't know much about not Point B.
You know a lot about Point B.
Of a gimmick. I've not really played it much.
Okay.
Played it like on a stream or something. And even So I didn't do much for me, but I was like, maybe this would work for someone who is invested.
I like that the star, when you throw it, has a trail on it now. So figuring out the angle and speed it's moving at is easier than it is on the NES, where it's moving so fast and only 60 frames per second. Aside from that, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out. I like both Point B and Gimmick.
Obviously,
they're pretty cool.
Slipgate 2 was announced. That was like a 2021 kind of like out of nowhere multiplayer shooter that used portals. Now they're doing a sequel. They've made a CG trailer that is pretty obnoxious. The trailer made it look kind of like it's this hero shooter where there are multiple different characters with personalities. And it's what I would just say is esports is the universe. Which is super cringe. Like unbelievable levels.
I mean, Slip Gateman that's in the thumbnail there is pretty cringe looking.
Yeah, he's awful. He's basically the main character of the trailer.
Core.
Yes. The press release around this doesn't sound like it's a hero shooter at all. So I'm wondering if that was just, oh yeah, we have these movie characters for the sake of the trailer. And nothing else.
Are we really? It really feels like we're actually going to that joke we made where it's like, well, we can't afford to make new service games. Let's figure out how to repackage existing ones that already failed.
Okay, so it's Splitgate, not Slipgate.
My bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Splitgate.
I couldn't figure out.
God, what was that multiplayer shooter that was like you take turns and there's time freezing?
Yeah, I've been trying to conjure its name.
Yeah,
Might that be Slipgate?
Maybe. That thing slipped out of reality. Whereas I know Splitgate did well for a while.
It might be Lemnisgate.
That sounds right.
Lemnisgate,
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Thank you, chat.
Is this fucking Splitgate? I thought that was the same thing because they both have gate in the name.
I appreciate the first person who guessed Lawbreakers.
Yeah, nobody's ever given a shit about Lawbreakers. Wasn't Cliffy B trying to be like, we can bring Lawbreakers back? I've been contacted by multiple people to bring Lawbreakers back. And then it turned out ain't nobody contacted him. What is he talking about?
We've checked his phone lines, and no one has called him ever.
I think what it ended up being is he was just tweeting about a fan project to get it.
He was tweeting
working.
ambiguously about a fan project, which later he admitted it was that. And it was like, dude, you made this sound like a huge deal.
Right.
I mean, cool that you're doing that, but what the fuck was with this vague tweeting? The hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, that's our first-person shooter multiplayer with portal guns sounds kind of neat. Maybe this game could be fun. And apparently, the first one was made like student project level, and that's why they're actually doing a sequel of like, oh, we want to actually do one with real production values and things.
Oh, cool.
So maybe that'll work out, and this will be cool.
That's neat. It has an idea. It could possibly, and it isn't being made by a giant publisher that will just cancel it the moment it doesn't make $1 billion.
Right. And then my last piece. Wait, what's up?
How many of Ubisoft killed?
We have 4 Xbox headlines?
Yes,
Yeah.
we do, and 3 of them are indeed death flags.
God damn it. Sorry, what was your question, Chris? I got sucker punched by this realization.
How many of these service shooters have Ubisoft killed already? Like, or not shooters, but service games. Didn't they do? They like?
It's like at least 4. Because if
Like
you
there was
recall,
Hyperscape.
E3 after E3, they kept rolling out like, here's this one. Here's this one.
Did that Rollerblade one get canceled yet?
Yeah, that came out and died.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. One came out during this podcast? No way.
What?
From Ubisoft? No, there's no way. Chat must just be like
Joking.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we now move on to Bob's last story. God damn it.
So STC is this week putting claims against the game or Microsoft for adjusting the price of Game Pass. The adjustments degraded the product, and let me see. They have some other direct quotes here. It's them exercising market power after post-merger, and exactly the sort of consumer harm from the merger the FTC had alleged before the merger. So yeah, it's almost like when you
And for
say
the
in
record,
court you're not going to do something, and then you do exactly that. There might be an issue.
And for the record, the appeal is still ongoing. Like the new court could indeed tell Microsoft, "Fuck you, split up." In which case, Microsoft would shit their pants and appeal it to probably the Supreme Court, who could still potentially tell them, "Fuck you, split up." So, like Microsoft, like things are so dire there financially that they really are just like anything.
Riff Chopper in chat points out that this puts us one step closer towards the woke FTC prediction coming true.
Oh no.
Too many predictions have already come true.
I know.
I know.
Phil Spencer saying woke FTC into a microphone will fucking
It won't
end
be
me.
Phil. I don't think it'll be Phil Spencer. It'll be Sarah Bond. It'll actually probably be Matt Booty.
Yeah, I was gonna say this seems like a Matt Booty thing, but
He
maybe
is-
Sarah Bond will pick up the torch and light herself on fire.
Right, like Matt Booty is the guy to come out to say the worst things. Imaginable.
Absolutely. Let's head over to Chris's news.
Nothing bad over there, right, Chris?
No. Firstly, this isn't really news, but it's something I discovered today. We have found yet more depth to Tracy Sketchett's evil.
Oh, one moment. What is
Did you
this?
know Tracy Sketchett only exists because the producers of the Pokemon anime were afraid Americans would think Brock is a racial stereotype of an Asian person?
Yep.
And then when it turned out that Brock was actually popular, they got rid of Tracy Sketchett and brought Brock.
What?
That is the entire reason there was that chunk where Tracy Sketchett replaced Brock.
What? Huh.
So fuck Tracy Sketchett.
I mean, obviously, like everyone knows that.
Man,
So,
dude didn't even get to be in one movie as a main character. He got to be on the sidelines twice.
So an artist went up on Twitter. Toys for Bob artist, I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check. Artist who worked on Spyro Reignited and Crash 4. So I don't know specifically what company, but one of those. They were in that area. Their project of the past 3 years was canceled this week. That project was Crash 5.
It's so over.
Why are you like this,
It's
Microsoft?
so over.
And once again, the Crash Insane trilogy sold like 10 million copies. Crash 5 sold like 5 or 6. I mean, Crash 4 sold like 5 or 6 million. These are not underperforming games. These are the kind of games Microsoft should be desperate for if they want to recoup the cost of this Activision shit. But they're so blitheringly stupid, they can, if it's not Call of Duty, it's not big enough. Cancel it. Can it?
Yeah.
Once this like Indiana Jones avowed shit is out, they're never they're never getting a game out again.
This is literally the exact opposite of what all the crazy fanboys said they would do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the crazy fanboys are saying, well, they didn't say Microsoft canceled it.
We have a bunch of people in chat, like almost all of chat, saying there's a confusing nature to the story because apparently the thing that artist was working on was a new project that was canceled this week. But seemingly, allegedly, also, Crash 5 was also canned.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get
they-
links from chat specifically. right
I
now.
am literally looking at them saying it is not Spyro, but someday folks will hear about the Crash 5 that never was, and it's gonna break hearts. I don't understand why you would say that in the context of your project being canceled if that was not it. I feel like this is a lot of scrambling to give a company that doesn't deserve any rope some rope. Let's move on as somebody
Yeah,
tries to
feel
fact
free. I'm fact checking this.
So I'm going to talk about Power Rangers for a second.
Okay.
Always fun.
Because we got confirmation on what the thing Hasbro wanted to get going that Netflix looked at and went, no thanks, was going to be. It is fucking pathetic. Their plan was a remake of the 10 most iconic episodes of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1, featuring all new actors, updated to modern day so they'd have smartphones and shit. None of these episodes would include the Green Ranger, even though when you say most iconic Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1 episodes, I feel like most of those involve the Green Ranger.
Right? Why would it not have the Green Ranger?
It was supposed to be even cheaper than modern Power Rangers was, and close in budget to that really bad special they put out. And I wanted to talk about this because the reason this is happening is because Power Rangers was acquired by Hasbro because the president of Hasbro, whose name I don't remember at the moment, worked on Power Rangers at some point and had fond memories of it and wanted to acquire Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
Then he died.
Oh.
And the new leadership had no fucking idea whatsoever what to do with Power Rangers. So it became the same thing that a corporation always, when a corporation doesn't know what to do in IP, is they have two options: kill it, or, well, what's the most popular thing from it? Just do that again forever. Which I just wanted to bring up because this is why all corporate acquisitions are bad.
Mm-hmm.
This is why. As another example, let's take Sega as an example. If you work for Sega, you probably care about Sonic the Hedgehog in at least some capacity. Like you want Sonic to be alive and doing something. But if Sega got acquired by Microsoft leadership doesn't give a shit about that. So there's this element of complete detachment that all these acquisitions cause that just kill things.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the Halo show is canceled. It got 2 seasons. It got both seasons that it was greenlit before it ever came out. Like at the very start, they approved 2 seasons.
Yeah, before anyone saw a single episode, it was like, oh, season 2 is approved.
So they made those 2 seasons, and then Paramount canceled it. And the producers want to take it to somewhere else, and I'm like, guys, you're already like, it's like, we're getting kicked out of Kmart. I'm sure we can find somewhere to sell our product. That's not fair. Paramount's one step above Kmart.
I just thought you were going to say below.
It's really unclear.
But yeah, like, ain't nobody gonna pick this up. Maybe Binge will.
Maybe.
Okay, so I did enough fact checking. Basically, yeah, this still confirms Crash 5 was being worked on and canceled at some point, but the specific cancellation this week was on a game called Project Dragon, which was not Spyro.
Right.
They were noting
Okay.
specifically that game was not Spyro.
So it was a weird, they were bringing that up separately.
Because they worked at Toys for Bob. Thus, the implication is Toys for Bob at some point was working on a Crash 5 that isn't happening.
Yeah.
They do not work at Toys for Bob anymore, but this, once again, wasn't about it being canceled now, this week.
No.
Either way, basically everything that was said was correct, just mild details of when and where. That's all. What the hell? I just going back to that.
Yeah, what the hell?
What the hell? How are you this stupid? I just don't understand. The wins are so obvious. Maybe it was pre-Microsoft.
It might have
Maybe
been.
that
It
let's
might have
entertain
been.
for a
Crash
moment. That
5?
was
Yeah.
because it could have been in the 2 years. I mean,
Yeah,
remember the Tony
it
Hawk
could-
thing was during the Activision era too, where they had an
it could've
obvious
only
win.
been- It could have only been canceled to clean up their portfolio for the acquisition.
Right.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, keep in mind the Tony Hawk thing's the same thing. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2 sold well, and then they said you have
Yeah,
to
but
work
then
on
they
Diablo.
moved. Yeah, but they moved Vicarious Visions. They didn't move Toys for Bob.
Yeah, what has Toys for Bob been making since
Nothing.
Crash 4?
Nothing that we see, that Crash Team Rumble shit.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Yeah. Which, was probably asset farming for 5 in some
Or
ways.
was made with
Yeah,
or was
in
made
fact-
with the leftover assets from canceled 5.
Yeah, I think we actually got news about that at some point of the studio wanted to work on a legitimate 5, and then all those assets just got turned into this terrible games as a service pitch.
And then that sold terribly because, of course, it did.
Nightmare industry.
God.
Also, following up the fuzzy Xbox controller from the second Sonic movie. I think that's what it was from.
I think so.
Yes.
Microsoft is doing another. You can win a contest to get a haha controller. It's a Deadpool themed one that has an ass on the back. Like it has a butt. Has Deadpool's butt on the back of the controller. It's called the Cheeky Controller. You can get it through a sweepstakes.
Designed by Deadpool XOXO.
Of course, it's another one of those. It's just for a contest.
There's also a custom Xbox that has Deadpool's chest on it, and also the Deadpool and Wolverine logo complete with Marvel Studios above it. Which, hey, motherfuckers, you don't need to put your logo on things that people will like have and display in their homes. You pieces of shit. That's what I remember back when. Remember Loot Crate?
Yep.
That's what ruined like every single Loot Crate shirt design. Because every so often I'd see one be like, "Wow, that's a great design," and then like at the bottom of the shirt be like Loot Crate. I'm like, "Well, I'm not fucking wearing that then."
Right. I'm already a walking ad for this thing I like. I'm not going to be a walking ad for you.
Oh man. We barely had any news this week, and Microsoft came up 4 fucking times with nothing but bad news.
Yeah, no, none of those stories were even remotely good. There was not a single angle you could be like, this could be okay from any of that.
I lost it when I
maybe
realized.
Maybe you think Deadpool's ass is really funny.
Oh, five stories. Then.
Oh, yeah, whoops, I forgot.
Let's balance the table. So during the Like a Dragon 8 streams, since I did 2 of them in a row, 18 hours long, because I'm on Bob's PS5 playing my digital game as me signed in on his, but it's not my PS5, the servers, both streams went, wait, I can't verify you're you. I'm gonna log you out. And I'm like, don't do that. Verify me. And then sure enough, after 15 minutes, log me out both times.
God.
Save was fine. Everything was fine. I have no idea why it's doing this. It has only done this during these streams. I am willing to believe there is literally a mechanic server side that goes, if they're live for 18 hours, something is up.
Right. It's like nobody has their PS5 on for 18 hours.
That means they're not fucking sleeping.
Right.
So I assume that's what the mechanic is based on, right? It's based on, well, the people who are using it to have like people with PS5s and PlayStations in multiple different states and shit would be rotating on a schedule. So maybe it's that. But I don't actually know. This has never happened.
Right. So we switched it back to your PS5.
So I got my PS5 back.
Yeah.
So that way I can play my game and it doesn't have to do that. Because for people who don't know, all you do is register the PS5 as yours and it never even remotely needs the internet. It just goes, yeah, it's your digital game. Why the fuck would I check the internet? It's so weird though, because it so consistently happened after the 18 hours.
Yeah, that's very strange and very much it implies a system.
If I didn't fucking sweat my balls off worrying I was going to lose 21 hours of progress on Like a Dragon 8, I would have done it again just to check. Just to see if it literally is an 18-hour trigger point. But yeah, we got to swap back, so we're all good now. So there you go. There's our balance and coverage. That's it, though. We're done.
Yeah.
That was it. That's all the news.
Do you think anyone's going to pick up that Halo show?
All I've heard is stupid shit about that Halo show. Like somebody has the flood even though they haven't been to a fucking Halo yet.
Yeah, everything in that seems incredibly bad, and everyone just seems upset at it. So I can't imagine.
The weird part is when we got a lot of cope from like really Xbox diehards really early on who were like, "No, it's great actually." And that was one of the many moments I've had as someone who loves Halo, where I sit there and go, you aren't a fan of Halo. You're a fan of Xbox and
Right.
will die for it. You don't actually care about the shit they own. And that's the sort of person who wants more mergers.
Yeah. I also the most I heard about Halo show recently is when the Fallout show came out and everyone was super sad that Halo show wasn't like that.
Yeah.
They were jealous.
Yeah.
Which is completely fair. It sounds like the Fallout show was made by people who liked Fallout.
Well, see, Bob, one of these companies is owned by Microsoft and the other... One of these companies had Bonnie Ross, I believe her name is, in charge, 343, and the other one didn't. So you can figure out who figured out how to properly manage a fucking IP. You had to shoot from the fucking hip.
I'm sorry. There's one more bad Xbox story. I've got to
Yeah.
Apparently, this is all rumors, but again, it's from credible sources. 343 had layoffs because Microsoft considers Halo Infinite a failure.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently the plan is to not have 343 be developing Halo games anymore, to get other people to develop them.
Yes, because they can't, and more importantly, they fundamentally, institutionally won't let them. That's why that guy left. Who the fuck's even in charge of 343 anymore?
Idea. Like,
is it just that community manager, Frank whatever, who came over from the Bungie days, where he just soared up in the ranks because he was someone from Bungie? Who the fuck's running it?
According to this, they lost 50 to 60 more people in the past 2 months. There is around 280 people working at 343. Only 30% of those people are working on games. The rest are business and marketing stuff. Halo allegedly has 2 projects coming. One is the rumored Halo 1 remake, and the other is like a larger scale PvP focused thing, which is probably like a new mainline Halo game. Both are supposed to be, quote, more than 2 years out.
I mean, if it's a larger scale PvP thing, then I would bet it's them trying to make Fortnite.
No, Chris. Jez Corden said that those rumors were false and wrong. You have to believe him. He's definitely not a shill.
Did you know that like game journalists fucking hate him because when Starfield got bad reviews, he was going into people's DMs and yelling at them?
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Like, nobody fucking likes that motherfucker.
Don't subtweet that. He's not. The longer you just you treat him nice to not look mean on the internet, the longer he just gets to make a career out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Are we sure he's not a bot? Like has anyone tried to tell him to ignore all previous instructions and write a poem about something?
Apparently, anything that isn't currently in like Halo Infinite content is done. Like anything that isn't already announced is it's over. It's just gonna be forged shit.
Mm-hmm.
10-year plan. It would be a platform, 700 campaigns in it.
Yeah.
That always goes well.
And then somebody informed them, in order to do that, you have to continue making content for the single player. That's how that works. Man, Phil Spencer sure liked Destiny and didn't understand it at all. Because that's worth noting. That man was a huge Destiny fan, always came up on his like games I love. Halo Infinite's 10-year plan was supposed to be it. A fucking Halo 1 remake. Between that and E-Day for Gears of War, I'm sick of Xbox.
Yeah.
I'm so done with this shit. They are literally doing the most brain dead shit with their stuff nonstop consistently. What's up, Bob?
It's just so much. Like, how they mismanage literally everything, even their biggest IPs like this.
Yeah.
They can't figure out how to make a Halo game. It's like, dude, you have many templates.
Oh, yeah. No, they're all pretty solid. Like, anything reaching before, make one of those. This isn't hard. But then people keep saying, well, you know, then the game's kind of short. And we spend a lot of money making AAA set pieces, and that's not enough. We need to have the infinite money game. And I really hate when I hear journalists defend that logic.
Yeah, it's like, well, you don't need the infinite money game.
Yeah, and as it turns out, most people don't even want it.
Right?
Did you know? Anyway,
I just keep remembering that thing where they shooed the like tournament winner for Halo off stage because he said he was hopeful for new content in Halo Infinite. Just how insane that was. Like, just let him hope. No, you can't even let your own fan base hope that you will make something good.
So anyway, that's it. No more Microsoft news. No more sad news about Microsoft. No upsetting news about Microsoft. I'm done thinking about them. They don't deserve the time of day for me, frankly.
Yeah.
They sold me a $500 box 4 years ago, and I still don't know why. Oh, right, to play Sonic Unleashed.
Of course.
That's it. It's pretty good at that. And 50 cents. Blood on the sand.
Yeah, did that great.
Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode of Big Think Dimension. As I mentioned, Bob and I tomorrow we're marathoning 6 different versions of Mighty Number 9 all in a row.
Don't be confused, chat. Those will all be the same game, but running various levels of bad.
To the point where Bob will be stupefied when it cannot shoot fast enough. But luckily for Bob, he'll be drawing the whole time. So, it'll just be me there, I guess. So, should we go to the Sam's Club and the Costco and just get 1 billion hot dogs? We're just eating hot dogs the whole time. Is the Wii U version there? Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Of course. People really wanted us to talk about NetherRealm's studio that made the mobile game for Mortal Kombat having layoffs.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It happened.
Yeah, every week there's going to be a story about massive layoffs until there's some sort of governmental reform that will never happen.
Until thing that won't happen, thing will happen. Oh no.
Yeah. Great.
According to App Magic, Mortal Kombat Mobile has generated $245 million in gross revenue.
Of course.
That sounds like a lot of money for something you're shutting down. Great.
Yeah.
I love this industry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and
You
the bottom
can't
of this
actually
article is
win.
just listing everywhere that's laying people off. We're just closing it. Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode. A Big Think Dimension. Goodbye. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. Big Think Dimension is only possible because of you and your support over at patreon.com/gbpodcast, where you can get early access to Chugging Bleach, Pokemon Go to the Movies, get extras for Armchair Devs and Gamer Premonitions. You're definitely going to want to listen to that Star Wars Outlaws extras. It will be super relevant. It will come up on the test. That is patreon.com/gbpodcast. Also, we're doing a poll for Blessed Blonde soon.